Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatics channel. What's good with you? It's your boy JB back here. It's been a minute, but here we are, Hall of Fame game, and that can only mean one thing. The NFL is back, which means football is back, which means JB is back also. But what's good with you guys? I see Samuel already here getting the chat started early here. What's good with you, Samuel? How are you? We got Lewis in the building as well. Lewis, how has it been? The man that's been everywhere and can read the future. How's it going? Yes. And again, Hall of Fame game here today. Ready for the kickoff any minute. All right, let's see if I can get some of these comments to show up here. See. So Lewis says, JB looking good, bro. Appreciate that, Lewis. Talk to me, man. What's been going on with you? RC in the building, yo. RC says, yo, if it ain't my main man, JB, I'm the third person out the limo. Hey, as long as you're coming out the limo, right? But what's good with you? How's the channel going? And then Samuel, long time. Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute, dude. I mean, last time was like what, when Ohio State, I think before Ohio State played Tennessee, I think was the last time I streamed. Something like that. It's been a hot minute, man. A lot of things have happened since then. Lewis says, yes, RC and Samuel. That's right. We're getting the band here. And hey, I can't wait to see who else shows up, man. But I'm excited for the NFL season. And so, Lewis, I know that your Bears got to work early this off season. So, how do you feel about the Chicago Bears this year? Will Caleb Williams really, I guess, answer the questions this year and improve that offense? A lot of money was invested in that offensive line this offseason. I will say that. Let's see. RC says JB, one channel is just hammering on and pushing on. My other channel is kind of muddled in the dirt. You know, it be that way, honestly, especially early on when you're getting momentum with one channel. So you got to focus more so on that. If only we could clone ourselves and then, put that same dedication to both channels. But, that's your core, I guess, audience with that one channel. You say, but that's due to lack of content being put on the movies and music channel. And so, hey, wherever you invest the effort at, that's where they show up at. Absolutely. All right, so Lewis says he's going to rock the under 34.5. Looking at today's matchup there, absolutely. Because once, I mean, who knows how much we'll actually get to take a look at the starters in this one. I imagine not too much there for either team. But I know for the Chargers, they just want to continue to go out there, run the ball. They'll be content with that. As for Detroit, yeah, their backup quarterback situation, it'll be fun to see Hendon Hooker out there a little bit. But yeah, I don't expect this one to go over either. So I would take the under as well. She says, Lewis, what up, bro? All right, so Lewis looks into his crystal ball and says the Bears are going deep into the playoffs. Give me a record projection, Lewis. Give me a record projection for what you're expecting for the Chicago Bears this season. Is this the year? Is this the year? Because I mean, Detroit, love Detroit. I still like Detroit a lot there, but they did lose their coordinator, so I got to see how they look. But at the same time, they had a lot of injuries last year on defense there, so we'll see how that plays out for them. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the Bears do. Everything's going to ride on the development of Caleb Williams and how does he look in year two. Does he get that mojo going for him this year? I know he wants to throw for 4,000 yards and all that great stuff there, but can he make it actually come out for W's for him? Samuel says Ohio State Buckeyes championship. That's right. Hey, you better tell Mr. JB when he's watching. You better tell him. I've been telling him each and every day. Kenneth, Kenneth, what's good with you? And you say, hey, my friend, how you doing tonight? Hey, I'm doing pretty good. My voice already sounds hoarse there. I guess that's from work. But other than that, JB is doing pretty good. And yeah, it's been a minute there. Been a lot going on in JB's world. I will say that to put it shortly, but I'm excited to be here and I am ready. I've been missing football so much. Missing football so much. But yeah, how's everything been going with you, Kenneth? I should say, JB, you only been gone 149 years. What's up, though? 149 years. If I make it back after that many years, RC, then I need to figure out what I'm doing because that's one heck of a long time. But yeah, it feels like it, man. It feels like it. Lewis says, all right, so you say 12 and 5. Okay, okay. RC says 14 and 3. So you're projecting Chicago to go 14 and 3? That's what you're projecting? Yes, Sammy says you're watching Ohio State Buckeyes championship. And so, hey, we need to have it happen again next season. I hope that we can do it again. And I hope this time we win the conference on the way and beat a certain team that I'm not going to mention along the way. But absolutely. And so Kenneth says, you had a death in the family last week. Oh man, hate to hear it there, Kenneth. Hate to hear it, man. But prayers to you and your family, Kenneth. But absolutely hate to hear that, Kenneth. That is extremely sad news. Extremely sad. Absolutely. But we're definitely here for you, Kenneth. Absolutely. But yeah, nothing like having a Hall of Fame game there. Extra time to take a look at those players that, hey, they may not be starters right now, but you never know in the future. And for some of these teams, you really got to know who your backup is. Like for example, obviously they're not playing today, but when Miami plays, if you're, rooting for them, Tua's, concussion history, all that great stuff there, like I believe they picked up Zach Wilson this offseason, if I'm not mistaken. If you're the Dolphins, you better have a backup quarterback that can somewhat be ready to step in if need be. So we'll see how that plays out for them. After seeing what Sam Darnold did last season, I'm gonna say anything's possible. And so Braden, the man of the hour that made it all happen there with the nice intro video. JB appreciates that. But Braden, how has it been, man? Every time I'm doing my mock fantasy draft, I always think to myself, is this a player that when I'm drafting that Braden's going to take? Since we typically end up drafting almost right next to each other. I feel like every year in the fantasy league since you've been in, we've been drafting like right next to each other. So I'm always like, all right, if Braden takes this player, I got to have a backup player in mind. Absolutely. And so Samuel says, "Hey JB, you subscribed to your channel and stuff like that." And so unless you have a new channel, I'm subscribed to both of your channels. Absolutely, absolutely. Kenneth says Saturday the Braves play versus the Reds. 11-6. Ooh, them Dallas Cowboys there. We'll see how that plays out. Let's see. Lewis says, Braden, that's right. The gang is getting here. You say it's been busy. And so, hey, I mean, the channel's been growing for you, though, Braden. I mean, I checked it out before the stream, and the channel has been booming for you. Meanwhile, kickoff on the way. So the Detroit Lions here with the football first. And on the opening return, was it a fumble or was he down? I mean, already we're going to put the referees to the test. What did the referees say? I saw the ball bouncing around there, but I thought he was down. But I guess he wasn't. How about that? Not the way you want to start the season if you're the Lions, even though it's the preseason, but you certainly want to at least get a decent look at your first unit. But you know what? Show me a replay. Show me a replay. All right, so looking at the replay there, oh, his own player caused the fumble, it looks like. But at the same time, I need to watch it one more time to see if that knee touched down before the ball came out. Because I was looking to see when it came out, but okay, that ball might have been out there. That ball might have been out. That actually might have been a good call. Wow. Wow. I'll tell you what, though, if he's trying to make the team, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. All right, let me catch up on some of the comments here. Rating says, "Hey, Lewis." As she says, JB, well, my channel finally went over 1K subs. It was hard work and grind. Oh, man, you know what? I feel like a proud parent here because I'm like, I'm seeing Braden over 1K here. I'm seeing RC over 1K. Everybody is getting their subs in, and I like it. I like it. But hey, how did you celebrate? How did you celebrate? And yes, it's always a grind, but you learn something each and every time. He says, "Getting into his house." So you said, I already did my fantasy research a couple weeks ago, so you're ready to go. Man, I constantly update my board every chance I get because you never know what it's gonna throw at you and stuff. But absolutely, absolutely. I'll probably finalize on my like research probably a good 2 weeks from now, honestly, once I get a feel for, the competition for those late round picks and stuff, like the 14th, 15th round, all that great stuff. But I will say this year is the fewest amount of members that we do have in the fantasy league. So that means we'll be able to draft better players. So that should help JB bring home a couple championships, hopefully. And so Mike, what's good with Mike. You said, dang, JB, it's been a whole since I got this notification. Yes, yes, believe me, your notifications was not the problem. It was JB. Absolutely. You said, hey, JB's been going on in JB's world. I will say that. It's been a lot here, but I am very happy to have football. And yes, somehow I always can tell when it's you, Mike, despite the different name, I can somehow always tell it's you. Meanwhile, play fake here for the Chargers. Just the completion there, okay, to the tight end before he's pushed out of bounds there, and that was Disley with the reception, and it's Trey Lance out there throwing. I mean, Trey Lance, after being in Dallas last year, drafted by the 49ers, my man is trying to make it to everywhere it seems. Third overall pick back in 2021, just a couple years ago, guys. Just entering into his fifth season. Can he find a home here behind Justin Herbert and learn from one of the best of them? Fullback goes in motion, gives it to the back here, and the back is going to get the first down, but there is a penalty. There is a penalty. Sammy says you're going now drive to get some pizza. Oh man, where you getting pizza from, Samuel? Mitzi Braden says, oh, it's close. Lewis says, first cut of the season. Ain't it? That's exactly what I was thinking. The first return there, you're all hyped up. It's been all off season, and you go out there and you just fumble the ball. That's not the way you want to start things off. All right, Samuel, appreciate the heads up. All right, so here we go. Again, Trey Lance here at quarterback. And this is, again, the first drive for the Chargers offensively. The Lions fumbled their kick return. All right, shotgun formation, three receivers, one tight end, one back. Gets a snap, high snap. Gets to the back and back off the right side, slips off of one tackler and makes it all the way. He's about a good yard and a half shy of that first down marker. So second coming up. Lewis says, I'm going over 1,000 in earnings this season. Hey, don't just do it alone. Bring the rest of us with you. We could use that cash, believe me. We certainly can. All right, second and two coming up again. First quarter here with 13 minutes and 35 seconds to go here in the Hall of Fame game. And the opening drive for the Chargers offensively with Trey Lance up under center. He got the start tonight here. And let's see. Get the snap. Oh, fumble the snap there. That's not going to help them center out right there. Third down coming up. Something tells me Trey was about to look to try to run with that one, but the snap never made it to him. RC said, you haven't celebrated yet. You will somehow, some kind of way soon. You're going to do a live stream celebration for the 1K and stream Caitlin Clark smoking ST in the Final Four a few years ago. Bet. All right, so here we go. Third and three right now. Tight end goes in motion. Three receivers, one tight end, one back. Shotgun gets the snap there. Feeds it to the back and the back, trying to get to the outside there. Can he? Oh, he cannot there. Excellent tackle there by number 23 of the Lions there. Didn't quite catch his last name, but an excellent tackle, and that's going to bring up fourth down. But hey, it's the preseason. Go ahead and go for it, unless you want to see what the kicker can do. Let's see. Brandon says, Arthur, you've been doing great with your streams. She says, and you'll also do a stream of the best Hawkeyes wins last season, which was your surprise upset victory over USC and Juju Watkins. Okay, that same game, Peyton Clark had her jersey retired. I remember that. Play fake. Throws it into the end zone for a touchdown. So the Chargers score. And so everybody minus Lewis right now is excited about that because Lewis, I don't think we anticipated a quick score like that. Just 2 minutes and 40 seconds off the clock, 5 plays, 28 yards. But that's what happens again when you fumble the kickoff and you give the other team excellent field positioning. So right off the bat, those linebackers, they got to tackle better because my man's like, I feel like the running back, tight end, everybody's getting about 8 yards before they get brought down. So tackling has got to be better. Some of the comments. Let's see. Mike says, we all happy for football. No football things. Yeah, we go too long without football. That's why I'm always rooting for the extra game. But at the time, I'm like, for football. That's what I want. Let's see. RC says, Brayden, I call it leaping out the window and seeing where I might land. Wouldn't recommend that, RC. I would not recommend that. Let's see. Mike says the UFL got you through. Huge UFL day. And so, oh man, how many UFL players do we currently have right now that are currently trying to make the team in the NFL that was in the UFL last year? If anybody knows that, certainly let us know. Mr. JB says, let's go, Lions. And God bless everyone there. So, Mr. JB in the building. We are currently right now at the commercial after we witnessed the Chargers score again after forcing that fumble on Detroit's last kickoff return. Let's see this time if Detroit can hold on to the ball for their kickoff. But that was insane. That's not the way that you want to open the season at all to fumble like that. But we get it. We get it. Let's see. RC says whoever wins this game wins the Super Bowl. Not exactly, RC. That's kind of not how it works. Phoenix, what's good with ya? And Phoenix says JB Nation and members. Yes. What's good, Phoenix? I know that you've done a ton of fishing since the last time we've chatted, Phoenix. So you've got to catch me up on what's been going on in your world. Marcy says, JB, my fighting Irish got, I believe, 6 players drafted in the NFL. You love to see it. And you know what? The best part is, the returning players that you guys got coming back, with the guys coming back there, that opening game there, Notre Dame versus Miami, that's going to be a very, very big game there for both, units in that one. I could see if Miami wins that, that could set the momentum for them and stuff, especially with them having Carson Beck transferring over from the University of Georgia there. Hopefully, they get the version for their sake from 2 years ago rather than last year. But either way, you're getting an experienced quarterback. It's hard to replace what Cam Ward was, but how do you do that? The defense cannot be as bad as the Hurricanes were last year. They just cannot be that bad. And I think that they'll be better because more guys returning another year in the system. That does help, believe me. I think it was like 3, 4 years ago. Ohio State's defense was pretty trash that year, but we got better the corresponding year. So if they can do something similar and Carson Beck can give them his best season, then that can make them very interesting because they were very close last year. But they got to stop losing to teams that they're supposed to beat. Stop losing to Georgia Tech. Stop losing to Pittsburgh. Stop losing to Syracuse. Stop losing the games that they're supposed to win. If Miami can cut that out, good for them. As for Notre Dame, just go out there and play Notre Dame football. If they can do that consistently, because last year they had that nasty upset. I forgot who beat them last year. But outside of that, they had a pretty consistent, season up until the championship game. They got the pieces. All right, so now we're gonna get to see Kyle Allen here in his 8th season. Can't believe it's been 8 seasons for him already. This is like his 5th team. So let's see what he does here for the offense for the Detroit Lions here from their own 35-yard line. Receivers bunched in, one back in the backfield, quarterback up under center, gets the snap, feeds it to the back, gets away from the first guy, and takes on the tackle there, picks up about 2 yards on the play. But there is a penalty on the play. But she says, what channel? NBC, ABC, or ESPN there? So this is on NBC. NBC. Again, this channel, yeah, this game's on NBC. And right now, here in the first quarter, with 11 minutes and 59 seconds to go, the Chargers up 7-0. But this is really our first look at the Lions offense because, well, they fumbled the ball on the opening kick return, so they never got the opportunity. And you see Jared Goff on the sideline there, And if you're someone like me that's thinking about fantasy football there, not having Ben Johnson anymore, I'm curious to see how that's going to impact him specifically this season. Meanwhile, they give it to Reynolds again on the carry, and he's going to pick up a yard this time after the penalty moved them back 10 yards. And now we're looking at second and 19 with 11 minutes and 35 seconds to go here in the first. Then the Chargers up 7-0. Let's see. V118 says UFL billionaire joins the investors today. Today. The Patriots signed center from UFL. And so, well, we certainly can use one because if everything that Enzo said about Bradbury, the center that we picked up, then we might be in trouble there. We might be in trouble there. That's the one signing that has me scratching my head. Meanwhile, Allen, he throws it. Oh, come on, son. You got to make that catch. The ball got to you. The ball got to you. You want to make an impact on this team and stay on this team. Those are plays you got to make. Now, love it. We're not loving that one. And again, love it. A rookie. She says, JB, you say, hell, bro. You say even Raleigh Leonard got drafted. And so, yeah, somehow that happened. Somehow that happened. Mr. JB said, leave your Hurricanes alone. Braden says, ORC. It's a draw play for 3rd and 18. And he'll pick up about 4 yards on the carry, but that will bring up 4th down. So the Lions will punt the ball. I know Lewis is happy about that. One, because it prevents more points, and also the fact that it's the Detroit Lions and him being a Bears fan, well, let's just say anytime the Lions fail, he's happy about that. He says Braden's favorite quarterback is Riley Leonard. I surely don't think that's the case. Braden says, can't wait for Texas versus Ohio State. Oh man, Braden. I'm not even gonna ask who you're rooting for in that one because I already know. But just tell me this. Tell me this. Do you guys truly expect that Arch Manning is going to win the Heisman this year? Will it be him or will it be someone else? What are you guys thinking about that? All right, punch on the way. Let's see if we get a return here. Catch it from his own 25. Got to make somebody miss, does. Second person, yes. Slippery guy right there. Makes it to about the 26-yard line, and that's where the Chargers will take over offensively here in the first quarter with about 10:02 to go here in the first quarter. Please, let's see, he's just reacting to your comment on jumping through a window. Yeah, that was wild there. That was wild. JB cannot condone that. JRC says, JB and Braden, y'all think Matthew Golden is going to be the answer at receiver for the Packers? And so, honestly, I could see him having a good impact there because I've been doing my research for fantasy football purposes. However, I just don't know who Jordan Love's gonna love because I feel like, Jaden Reed, when he gets going, he's great, but I don't know if that offense is built to consistently feed one receiver all the time. But I do know this though, he will have some kind of impact. But I feel like the Packers just have a bunch of receivers right there, and he'll just have a middle of the road type of impact there. So I don't think he's gonna be the answer, but he can answer some questions. I'll give him that. And so we got the RC. JB corrected it. Betsy Braden says, yeah, he's been amazing in camp so far. Lewis says, well said, JB. Appreciate that. All right, 2nd and 4. Play fake. Oh, what an excellent block there by the back, but just no one to throw it to. So you just got to get rid of the ball there. And that's what you want to see from a guy like Trey Lance, knowing when to just give up on a play, like don't try to force things. That's how you get those nasty turnovers or somebody gets hurt, all that stuff. Just go out there. And if it's not there, hey, get rid of the ball. Nothing wrong with that. Obviously says I wasn't talking about literally leaping out the window. I'd be just rolling the dice figuratively on live streams. I think I'm okay. I can do better, I believe. And so we believe in your RC. We do. All right, so here we go. Shotgun formation here. 3 receivers top of the screen, one at the bottom. Snap the ball. Lance throws up a beauty of a pass and gets it completed to the receiver. What a nice throw and a nice catch. First down here for the Chargers. So the Chargers, they are moving the ball. So Braden says no. Arch won't win it. You got Nussmeier out there winning it. That's not a bad pick there. I wouldn't be mad if he had the type of season and actually won it there. I wouldn't be mad at all. Oh, JB Kyle Williams is going to be really good for the Pats too. And so I do hope so. I do hope so. I truly do hope so. I'm hearing that Stephon Diggs is looking better than expected for the Pats. That makes me happy there. I'm hearing Pop Douglas is doing pretty good also. I feel like him being the number 2 receiver this year is going to bode well for him. But if Kyle can go out there and his route running is really as great as I think it can be, maybe we won't see it too much year 1, but by year 2, I can see that really helping us out tremendously. Year 1, if he gets more than 560 yards receiving and a couple touchdowns, that's probably a good year for him. Okay, then first quarter here with about 8 minutes and 8 seconds to go. Chargers up 7-0. Again, 3rd and 6 right now coming up here for the Chargers. Let's see if they can get the first down here. As for Detroit, go out there and tackle somebody. Like, go out there and hit somebody. Make your presence known. All right, 3rd and 6. Here in the shotgun. Let's see if the Lions bring pressure. They bring 4. Lance moving around the pocket. Lance, he's running like there's ants crawling on his feet. Takes one guy off and just throws that one away and not a receiver in sight, really. So give my man some help out there. I mean, he had the time. He looked a little nervous there, but just nobody open. So incomplete. 4th down coming up. Again, first quarter with 7 minutes and 35 seconds left to go, and the Chargers will second of this. What is going on? All right, so they're going for the field goal here, and ooh, 52 yards. Nope. So that didn't work out there. Gonna make a mental note there for my fantasy team to keep that in mind with this kicker. But yeah, so they did not convert on the kick there from 52 yards out, and that was Dicker the kicker that missed that one. Doinked it actually. So yeah, Lewis is really happy about that. Let's see. RC says, JB, it was an eye for an eye with you and me. You say your Buckeyes knocked off my Irish for the crown, but I get some get back when my T Wolves took out your Lakers in round 1. And so, come on now, RC. Come on now. We got a good thing going here. There's no need to mention what the Timberwolves did. JB was just happy to have Luca. Like, I'm just happy about that turn of event because I was seriously concerned about the future of the Lakers. Honestly, I was really concerned. All right, Braden says, nice throw by Lance. And so that throw he made was nice. All right, he says, Caleb Williams has more weapons than the Marines and be put together. He better freaking succeed this year. So, what do you guys say right now in the chat? Let me know, what are your expectations this year for Caleb Williams specifically? Because I feel like he is the X factor. If he can have a big leap in year 2, better offensive line, another year, in the NFL, a coach that's a tremendous play caller, like, so what are you guys feeling about Caleb Williams this upcoming season? And if you play fantasy football, is he on your radar or no? Prince says he's looking good so far. Lewis says, man, it's the preseason. Run that ball. He said, let them big guys up front do what they do best, run that ball, and most importantly, run that clock. He says, JB, will the Bengals and Joe Burrow will have a bounce back season this year? If your answer is no, then it's time to trade Joe Cool. You know what? Honestly, for the Cincinnati Bengals here, I'll say this. Joe Burrow did a tremendous job last year when he caught fire. Like, that was tremendous. And every year we enter the season thinking we're going to get that version of Joe Burrow. But the only problem is Joe Burrow plays like that for maybe half the season. He's got a little bit of what I used to think about Russell Wilson a couple years ago, back when Russ was in his prime, where, like him, and even when Kyler Murray had that good year or two, where it's like, okay, half the season, you're going to get their absolute best. They're going to make you fall in love with them. But in the case of Joe Burrow, early in the season, typically he gets off to a slow start, which means the Bengals, their defense is not built to really hold teams like that because all the money's on the offense. So, long story short, they end up fighting to try to make it as a wild card as opposed to a team that's, going to be playing at home. And you're not going to, it's just not in your best interest to be going on the road all the time if you make the playoffs and you have to basically win 5 out of 6 games to make the playoffs. So, do I think the Bengals are going to bounce back? I don't see them going beyond maybe just making the playoffs currently. That's my expectations if the Bengals do better than I think, but most likely they'll probably just keep it close, compete to the very end, and then probably just barely miss it. Somewhere around that is the range of what I think for the Cincinnati Bengals, because I don't believe in their defense, and I don't believe Joe Burrow gives us what he gave us towards the end of last year for the full season. I don't think that happens. I don't think that they should trade him, though. I'm not going to go that far. They should not trade him at all. She says Lewis and JB. Ben Johnson wants Caleb to complete percent of his passes. Well, he better be talking about a video game. All right, 1st and 5, throws it to the back of the backfield, and the back is the first down, and he's brought down at about the 41-yard line of the Chargers here. It's not a Lions here on the Chargers side of the football field with under 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter as they trail 7-0. And again, Kyle Allen out there quarterbacking for Detroit. I was about to say, Hendon Hooker is still on the roster for the Detroit Lions, correct? Because I do want to see him get in there and see what he's been doing the last couple of years. All right, so now we got a fullback and a back. Gonna give it to the back and the back up the middle. Picked up about a yard or two on that carry. Excellent tackle there by the Chargers. 6 minutes and 24 seconds to go here in the first quarter of play. Chargers up 7-0. It's his first doing of the season. And so, okay, Lewis getting it started the right way here. RC says, I meant 70% of this passage. You took too much and made a typo. I got you. I got you. Now, 70% is still awfully high, but if he can get it to about that 63 to 65 range, then that'll be pretty good. Because if you're doing 70%, that just means you're just probably dunking it to the back at the backfield each and every play, basically. But there's a penalty here. JR says, JB, I've been in and out on this WNBA season. It's been underwhelming for me. You say, which is a bad thing because, listen, it's my biggest topic on the channel. And so, really, so tell me, what is it about this season that's just, I guess, led to a bit of a disappointment, really? Just what stands out to you as some things that you'd like to see change? Because I know that you invest a lot of time in just, studying the game. So tell me what is going on. She said, JB, did you just say Andy Dalton? If JB just said Andy Dalton, then JB needs to sit down because it's been a long day if I'm out here throwing out Andy Dalton. You'll probably hear me say Carson Palmer before you hear me say Andy Dalton. Laney, what's good, Laney? In the building. How are you? How are you and how have you been? And throws. He threw a pick. He threw a pick. The only person that can stop him is if Lewis makes the tackle himself, and he might just do it. Oh, but it looked like Reynolds made the tackle there. But my goodness, he basically gift wrapped that to him. What was he thinking? Oh man, Kyle Allen, pack your bags. You might be looking for another team. Look at that. Look at that. First of all, the receiver clearly did not run that route that hard. The DB got to sit on it, and that's just a bad throw, bad route. Everything about that was bad. The defensive player, he looked good in that play. He says, "And Brian Schottenheimer we trust," or it could be, did we say, "And Brian Schottenheimer we trust?" I think the latter, RC. I think the latter. Laney says you're good. That's great to hear. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Like it's been a long last couple months for JB, but I'm doing good and I'm happy to have football back. I'm especially excited for college football as well this upcoming season. I know we got a little ways to go, but I can't wait for that. Opening week seems like it's going to be great. All right, Lewis says we need a stop. Can we get a stop? And oh, just barely. But something tells me that Vital's about to get in that end zone if they give it to him again because he took on that contact and he just kept going. Tell me this, Laney. That's right. We didn't get to discuss the whole Tennessee quarterback basically forcing himself to have to go to leave and to join UCLA. Meanwhile, did he break? Oh, that's a touchdown. The second effort got him that touchdown. So the Chargers have scored again. That's not good for Lewis's wallet at all. Just 2 plays, 6 yards, 31 seconds. But yeah, Laney, I mean, how do you feel about how the whole situation played out? Watching your quarterback for the Volunteers end up going to UCLA. Oh, and ended up having to take less money. I mean, sometimes you got to be appreciative for what you have. That's a lesson that I hope that was learned by these young men. The money that you're making, that's good money because, like, what was it like 5 years ago? Players were not making money like that, like at all. So the fact that you're getting anything, I like what South Carolina quarterback did. Like what his father basically told him, like, hey, you're in a good spot right now with a good team. You're making good money. You don't need all that money. You're making enough. Lewis has more reason to hate them Lions. Oh man, Lewis, do you really need any more reasons? Do you really need any more reasons? All right. So what she says, Caitlin Clark can't stay healthy. Okay, so I get that. Both of your teams, the Aces, okay, Aces too, and you say the Fevers are mediocre. The games haven't been as exciting as in years past. Okay, and only one team looks legitimate to win it all. You bring up some pretty valid reasons there, RC. You really do. It says, "Hey, where were you when Luca got traded to the Lakers?" And so me, I was in the Philippines when that happened. I remember I was in the Philippines when that happened there because that's probably the last was that the last video that I think I posted that was not like a play by play. So yeah, and you know me, I don't really post NBA news like that anymore. But dude, when that happened, dude, I was excited. I was in the mall, and I was like, yeah, that's what's up. The building, what's good with ya? And yes, your boy JB is back, which can only mean one thing. The NFL is back. How have you been? He said, "How the game going, bro? And great to see you." And so it's great to see you as well. And right now, the Chargers seem to be the only one that really cares about this game right now. Detroit, so they fumbled the kick return there, gave some easy points there, and also threw that interception, which basically was almost a pick six there. So basically, the Chargers, they are scoring, but a lot of it is due to Detroit making a lot of mistakes and giving them great field positioning so far. Hal Allen, if he's not careful, he's going to be looking for his 16 and stuff like that, the way he's out there playing. So gotta be mindful of that. But it's not just him. It's not just him. I'm seeing some things I don't like from these players that are on the Lions. Defensively, they're not making the tackles they need to make out there. As for the Chargers, what I'm seeing is effort. And in a preseason game, that's what I'm really looking for. Who's out there giving me effort? You got running backs out there that are just, running through guys and stuff. I like what I'm seeing from the Chargers from an effort perspective out there and also results. All right, so here we go. Laney's going to give us some insights here about how she feels about how the Tennessee quarterback situation played out there. You say, I think it serves him right for having to get less money. He should have stayed in Tennessee, but I think the quarterback we have will do just fine, maybe. Who's the quarterback now for Tennessee this upcoming season? I failed to realize who is the current quarterback now for the Tennessee Vols. But yeah, I mean, sometimes a guy like that, if his ego is so big, it's better for him to see the door anyways. I remember last year, I think it was it Utah last year whose starting quarterback was upset that he was not getting his NIL money, and then he basically stopped playing on the team, or was it someone else? It may not have been Utah. I'm thinking of a team. There was one college team last year that they were off to a great start, and he just basically quit after like 2 or 3 games. But the team did better without him, so we'll see. Let's see, Brandon says you was in bed and shocked when it happened. And so, yes, yes. You say Sterling Sharp, bet. All right, so here we go. Allen up under center, play fake, looking, throws it, gets the completion there. Okay, so finally here a big time play here for the Lions. Okay, no penalty there. Braden, I feel like your TV is always like a million seconds ahead of mine. Like it's insane. TRC says, Braden, tell JB how my name. Oh, I know how many times your name has changed. You said 5,000 times since the last time I went live there. And so, yeah, you're going to be the reason why YouTube ends up restricting how often I can change. Absolutely. Again, 4 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the first. Play fake. Allen looking. Allen in the pocket. Allen on the move. Throws it. Gets the completion again. Seems like he found him a receiver there. And that's what? Tuslam? His last name there? But anyways, the guy's out there cooking. Or she said, when I found out Luffy got traded, I was in the enemy's chat room. That's a typical RC move right there. I expect nothing less. SM says your slip is cooked. Oh man, what'd you do? What'd you do? And says, ah, that's right. It was UNLV. UNLV. That sounds right. That sounds exactly right. Yeah, UNLV. That's exactly the team. Appreciate that there. Yeah, so their quarterback last year in the middle of the season said, nah, y'all not gonna play with my money. Cost him. Meanwhile, the back hit the floor, but nobody touched him, so he got back up there, or was he touched? But at least made it back to the line of scrimmage if he wasn't touched. All right, so JB, did you make any picks on this game? I made no picks on this game here because, quite frankly, with it being the first preseason game, this wasn't the preseason game that I wanted to jump in on. So I did not make any picks on this one. But definitely by the time we get to like the second and third preseason game, that's when I'll probably start warming up there for the NFL. Because you know your boy likes to dip his hand into the pot a couple times. All right, so second and 12, throws it over the middle, gets the completion, bounces to the outside there, got to use his speed there, and he's going to be about 3 yards shy of that first down marker there. So it's going to make it 3rd and 3 coming up. She said, JB, I did play back to back on the two Chicago Cubs games. Both games I called, they won and put a lot of runs on the board. Okay, okay. He said, JB, you heard Life Fitzgerald's son is going to be an Irish receiver in 2026. You're pumped for that. And so, yeah, that's you should be pumped for that. That's nice. I'm like, how many former NFL players are actually like their sons are on Notre Dame right now? 3rd and 2, and one of the ugliest throws you will see from a professional quarterback. I mean, it's no wonder that was picked. His receiver never had a prayer. I mean, you can watch whether it's UFL, CFL, it don't matter. As long as it's got football league in it, you will not see a pass worse than that. I'm sorry. That was a prayer and it was not answered. That was a terrible throw right there. My man threw that like he was trying to get rid of a grenade. Like, look at that. Look at that. Look at where the receiver is, and look at where that was. That was bad. That was bad. I mean, if Jefferson was a receiver, that would have been good, but Jefferson was not the receiver. He was a defensive back. That was bad. But you know who liked it? Lewis loved it. He said, "Start that guy. Hashtag start him. Hashtag put him in the game, coach." He says, "Nice pick," and he'll take a shot for that one. Yeah, she says, JB, my lady wanted to be on my live stream, and I was like, sure, but it felt weird because I was like, I'm a talk sports, and she doesn't really know anything about sports like that. You know what? We'll touch on that after this play here. All right, so play fake. Ooh, Chargers looking to take a deep shot here, but they've got pressure and gets to Trey Lance. And hey, if a defensive player can get to Trey Lance and run him down, keep that guy on the squad. 2 minutes left to go here in the first. Again, Chargers up 14-0, but the Lions made a nice play defensively on that one. But yeah, RC, I mean, that's just a situation where in that type of environment there, if you know she doesn't know about sports there, that's probably when you use the other channel there and then talk about something that she'd probably be able to get more insight about right there, unless you're going to like spoon feed some lines in terms of what she should and shouldn't say. But I get it, though. I get it. I get it. All right, Lance throws it. Lance gets the completion there for about a good 6 yards on the play. 3rd down coming up. All right, she says, JB, how do you football streams? What if you can't see all the players and you don't know all their jersey numbers? Do you How do you swing that, bro? And so you know what? That's an excellent question there. Like honestly, there's a couple ways to go around that. The stat sheet is helpful if they're a starter and stuff like that. Now, if they're a backup, then you're probably just gonna have to wait till you actually see like the name on the back of their jersey. But also, if you watch the play-by-plays like that they actually have on like the game cast and stuff, that's a great way to know who made what plays and associate, the jerseys if you don't necessarily know them like that. It's just a matter of having it up on the side, something like that to help you out. Because I have to do that for college football. Because college football, I don't know all of these players like that. I can barely tell you more than five on Ohio State. Better yet, the guys that are coming in as freshmen, that I've never seen before, and how crazy the transfer portal is. So that's one way. And then like just being able to research them, every commercial and stuff, have some things ready for the game. All that stuff helps you to be able to give some insight. But man, half the time you're swinging it. If it's the UFL, then JB's completely swinging like a batter that doesn't realize that the pitch that you don't have to swing at every pitch. So exactly. All right, so love it on the return here. What a nice return before he got tripped up there at about the 40-yard line. And that's going to take us to the end of the first quarter with the Chargers up 14-0 so far in this one. So I know Lewis is wanting to see more of a defensive game moving forward. He would love that. SM says, how is Trey Lance still in the league? My man is like a professional salesman. He goes out there, probably just runs the 40 and say, hey, you want that, you like that. And they're like, you know what? Let's bring him on. Let's bring him on. Because I was so confused last year when the Dallas Cowboys consistently allowed this man to play. And I was like, Cooper Rush, I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, but Cooper Rush gets W's. Cooper Rush goes out there and keeps the offense afloat as long as the team's doing decent. That's what you need from a backup. A guy like, Trey Lance, that's just a project. That's an experiment. That's no different at this point than years ago. My guys that's been watching football 10 plus years, having a guy like DJ Shockley on your team. That's basically what having a guy like Trey Lance is at this point. Just a project. It looks good on a video game. It feels good when you watch the 40 time, but that's it. None of those players are going to take you anywhere. Matter of fact, they're going to take you out the league if you start him or play him too much. So how is he still in the league there? Got a good agent. That's all I can say. He's got a good agent. Find me that agent, and I can at least get a couple million before they discover how bad I truly am. He said, saw rumors of him going to the CFL. And so honestly, I feel like he'd be better off. I mean, he'd be better off in the UFL based upon his style of play too. Because I feel like at the UFL, he can go to a team, and really contribute as a runner. And I mean, because they've got some great coaches there for developmental type of players, and he needs to be developed in terms of just passing wise. That's what he needs. CFL, that's more so like, you know, they got some guys there that can throw that ball. You know, they got some guys that can throw that ball, and I just don't see Trey Lance as that type of passer. But hey, they got Shea Patterson over there, so maybe. He says, "You think Clippers going to be better than the Lakers? Bradley, Bill, Kawhi, James Harden? Nah. I'm gonna say no, only because we all know these players that you're mentioning here, somebody is gonna get injured, and then when it comes to the playoffs, a few of these guys would not perform in the playoffs. They'll set those high expectations and they'll let the whole city down. I mean, they will let the city down. So, not to say that we won't do the same thing because we probably will, but yeah, I'm just gonna say Lakers do better. Maybe I'm being biased there. Maybe I am. And CRC says, JB, you've been gone so long, I forgot I was a model that. Oh man, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so here we go to start the second quarter, and it's a running play. Oh, excellent job there. The right guard cleared that space up, and that's a first down there. That's a first down. That's about 10 yards there. So Reynolds getting a lot of work here. That's what happens when you're like, if I was a guy that's just trying to, make a name for myself, then being a third string in the preseason, just the preseason for the Lions, I know I'm gonna get a lot of carries because they're not gonna run their, two bell cows. They're not gonna try to risk those guys for injury. So you're gonna get a lot of work if you're the third and fourth running back for the Detroit Lions in the preseason. Some says Clippers got a 2018 super team. We know how that works out. When you have a super team that's about 7 years too late, we know how that works out. But hey, how do you guys feel about the Thunders being the champions and their chances to run it back? Like, how do you guys feel about that? I know we're going all over the place here when it comes to sports, but that's what we do here on this channel. Absolutely love it. And in case you guys have forgotten, be sure to press that like button as well. It's a great way for YouTube to go ahead and broadcast that JB's back. So that way everybody else is part of JB Nation that probably forgot that JB exists. And remember, let's see, she says, with no Blake Griffin, who I think he retired, didn't he? And so, man, how long ago has it been since the last time we even saw Blake Griffin out there? It has been a hot minute since the last time we saw him out there. We still see DeAndre Jordan, but Blake Griffin's been a hot minute. All right, another carry here for Reynolds, and he's going to pick up about 3, 4 yards there on the carry. 14:05 to go here in the second quarter, and the Chargers up 14-0. Okay, so SM says the Thunder will win another one, but I don't know if they repeat. It's been 10 plus years since a team repeated. And so you're right. You're right. I mean, given how young they are, they did a tremendous job to win. But heck, I'm not going to lie. I really thought the Celtics were built to repeat, and we saw what happened there. You know, whether or not it was injuries, they were not looking that great against the Knicks before, Jason Tatum went down. Personal opinion there, but it'll be fun to see because I like what the Rockets did in terms of like how they constructed their team there. And if Kevin Durant comes in there with a vengeance, like, okay, I want another chip there, that'll be very interesting to see how that plays out there. But there's a lot of good teams to contend. Denver's obviously in that conversation as well. So we'll see how the Western Conference looks there and can they repeat in the West? But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. So here we go. 3rd and 1. 4 seconds right now on the play clock. Got to snap it. Gets the snap, but is not in time. Just took a little too long there. And that's big. That's big. These are the type of things in the regular season. You get 3rd and 1. You want that 3rd and 1 as opposed to 3rd and 6. All right, Archie says, calling some basketball streams, JB. One thing I realize is you better be able to talk in rapid fire when the game is going, especially when the ball is whipping and moving. Yes, yes, you're absolutely right, RC. You're absolutely right. I mean, I enjoy it like for college basketball. I do enjoy my live streams for college hoops. But for the NBA, that's a different breed there because like my knowledge on the NBA is not as good as my football NFL knowledge. But for me to be talking as fast, I've got to actually think about what I'm saying for that one. He said, "Where is Black and Old Man?" And so I keep contact with both. I keep contact with both. Black Medicine, he's just busy at this time there. As for Old Man, I checked on him, let's see, about maybe like a week and a half ago. He's doing pretty good. And so I know he is working. I don't know his current work schedule, but definitely I'll see, when he'll be able to join us the next time. But yeah. All right, 3rd and 1. Receiver goes in motion, gives it to the back, and the back off the left side gets the first down here. Takes it to the 36-yard line. Evan says, 7 years, my bad. Warriors did it in 2018. And so, okay, that's right, 2018. And so that's right. The Warriors, though, I mean, obviously, the addition of Jimmy Butler last year, if you get everybody healthy and stuff, and then obviously Draymond not having to be fully the only center and stuff that's actually getting playing time, I guess you can say. That's big. Oh, speaking of big, oh, I thought Reynolds was about to try to hurdle him. Uh-oh, did he hurt himself? You better get up, big man. I mean, you are doing tremendous here. And he's going to head for the sideline. He says, JB, question time. Whose passing shocked you the most? He said, Malcolm, Jamal, Warner, Theo. Oh, man. Yeah, yeah. All right. Oh, man, these are some good options here. Good options here. I will have to say which one shocked me the most. Ooh, because I feel like it's between Hulk Hogan, also. The Theo one did catch me by surprise there, but if I had to say who's, I'm probably gonna say Hulk Hogan. Probably surprised me, the shocked me the most when I found that one out. But that was a good question there, RC. I mean, because I feel like we've been losing a lot of icons lately, a lot of them. So absolutely. Lewis says, "Where is 80s?" And so, yeah, one thing we know about 80s is that he will show up and he will find us for sure. And so, but you never know when that's going to be. But since his Eagles won the Super Bowl, he's got to brag about that. He's got to brag about that. So I'm just ready for him to come through, tat it up with him whenever we see 80s again. Listen, says, JB, I finally responded to your message from 2020. Man, it felt like it was at least since 2022. All right, so here we go. Gives it to the back here, and the back number 42 bounces off the tackle, picks up about 3 yards there on the play. All right, and this is the kind of football that Lewis wants to see here. And again, the next preseason game, that's going to be like next week, Thursday. I forget who the Indianapolis Colts play, but I feel like the Colts are the next team that plays in the preseason. Let me see if I can figure out who they're going against with the lucky tablet here. All right, but meanwhile, 3rd and 11, shotgun formation, trips at the bottom of the screen here. One receiver at the top. Gets the snap here, throws it, a completion there to Love it. They snatch his helmet off, and he's going to be a couple yards shy of that first down marker here with 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter. And the Lions still unable to score in this one. So the Lions are trying to help you out there, Lewis. They're trying to help you out. Lewis is probably still drinking since the Super Bowl win. Oh, you know it. You know it. You know it. Every chance he gets. Absolutely. But I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for the Eagles as well. I was happy to see Jalen Hurts go out there and get that Super Bowl. I was really happy to see that. And Saquon Barkley, when feeling the pressure, Allen on the move. Allen, he in for his life there, but did he get enough for the first down or no? Let Lewis tell it. He'll say no. There he is, the MVP, old man Mob, keeping Buffalo clean by throwing away every single Buffalo Bill fan thing that he can find. And he says, "What's good, JB and chat? What's good with you, old man? How's life treating you? How's work? How's the family? Man, how's Teddy? How's all that going with you?" He said, "Ben Johnson leaves and the Lions look horrible, and Dan looking mid. Like I said, it would happen." And so there you go. You heard it here first. Picked up a couple yards here. But glad to see you come through, old man. SDR, he says, JB, I don't know if I would change my name, but I will be calling some Iowa and Notre Dame college football games this season. And so, hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's a great combination. No UCLA football games though. And RC says, "Old man Mob, what up, bruh?" And Nate tosses it to the back off the right side, and he's going to pick up about 3 yards there on a carry. His last name may be small, but he's a pretty big looking running back there. Let's see. Old man says, "We good. Just been working a lot and trying to get this money up." Ain't that the case? Everybody working hard for the money. Say, "What's good, RC?" Same old, same. How are you? How about you? Williams. Just what will the Lions look like this season? Shotgun, 3rd and 5. Ball at the 9 yard line here within the goal line. Quick pass to the receiver there, and Love it. Gets the catch, and he's going to be just shy of that first down marker. But I think we all know what this means. They're going to be going for it here on 4th down, one would expect. Now, Lewis, I know you need the Chargers to make a play right now. This very well could basically be your wallet right here. So I'm a hope here with Lewis that they can get this stop here for Lewis. He says he needs a stop and he needs one bad. Awesome to see just how many people we actually have here that are mods. We got a lot of mods on here. All right, 4th and 1. Shotgun formation. Gets the snap. Allen looking. Allen throws it. Allen gets the completion there, and that's a first down. I was a little concerned, I'm not gonna lie, when they had Allen drop back there. I was like, I don't know about this. You probably want to run the ball in those situations. Oh, he just did will that one in. Yeah, he just did make that catch. So now they got the heavy formation here. They got Reynolds back in the backfield. Allen up under center, got a fullback too. Gives it to Reynolds off the left guard. And oh, what an excellent stop there by the Chargers. I don't know what Lewis told that guy, but he needs to tell the rest of the team. Whatever it was, he told him. All right, he says, I like Ben Johnson to the Bears, JB and old man. I finally think the Bears got a sensible, effective, and knowledgeable coach. Finally. That's right. But with knowledge, sometimes it comes with years of experience. Sometimes you have to continue to figure out what it is that you're doing as for a first time head coach. But I'm excited for him. And they certainly did invest in the offensive line. I will say that. They did invest in that O line. Reynolds walked in there for a touchdown. And it's the first points for the Detroit Lions this preseason. And it comes on the ground. So Lewis, that under right now is looking very concerning there. 15 plays, 60 yards, 9 minutes and 26 seconds in terms of time possession off the clock. Now, y'all, if y'all know JB, y'all know JB loves a good long drive that takes off time, hires out the defense there, and then you just send the message that you can't stop me no matter how hard you try. RC says, JB, I don't like UCLA football. It types funny acting. You say, I love the women's and men's college basketball teams, though. I feel you. I feel you. Meanwhile, the extra point is good. So 14-7 is the score right now. Chargers up, but the Lions just scored here in the second quarter with 5 minutes and 31 seconds left to go before halftime. All right, so old man says, I like what the Bears have done, but I'm not high on Williams. Never was. But hey, he could cook with Ben. And so, hey, they're putting the pieces around him. They're putting the pieces around him. I'm going to be interested to see what does that look like for DeAndre Swift in the backfield. Given what Ben Johnson has been able to do with these running backs that he has down here at Detroit, like obviously, this year they're gonna have to rely on him, and let's see what he can do in the backfield for the Bears because they do want to have that balance in the backfield. One would want to think. The O says, I don't see the Commanders trading Terry, but in my opinion, I could see them wanting at least, yeah, from the 21st or the second pick or third or fourth round, in a receiver. Hey, if they'll take that from us, I'll make that trade myself. I'll make that trade myself. But honestly, when I first saw the news today, it's like, it's the receiver that's unhappy, but at the same time, all you gotta do is pay him. Just open up the checkbook, go ahead and pay him because what you gonna do without him? What you gonna do without him? You need him. The Commanders, they're tired of being bad. They finally got good last year. They want to keep that trend going. Jaden Daniels, he needs this guy out there. You don't want to take away his best weapon and make life harder for him. You don't want that. So Gary Terry is not going to be leaving Washington, in my humble opinion. You see, at this point of the season, I just don't see that being the case at this point of the season. He says, "Oh man, life out here, lifing, and I'm trying to stay afloat, stay positive, keep my head up, and understand they got to be ready for anything in this life." You're right about that. We've got to be prepared for any and everything. All right, she says, "JB, you think they'll repeat this year? Repeat as in which team are we referring to this year to repeat?" JB's got sidetracked here. He says, "What's the goofy dude named the drafted the quarterback a few years ago? They drafted him high, JB." And so, are you talking about? You're not talking about Mitchell Trubisky from years back, are you? Yeah, Mitchell Trubisky was like, because I assume you're not talking about Justin Fields, so you're definitely probably talking about Mitchell Trubisky. Justin Fields could be. He says, "I can't think of his name to save his life." And so, yeah, I mean, I mean, because the most recent one was Justin Fields, who's with the Jets now, but prior to that was Mitchell Trubisky, depending on how far back we're going. Right, flag here. And so Samuel's back. Welcome back. And so there, right now the game is in the second quarter, Samuel, with about 5 minutes and 31 seconds to go here before halftime, and the Chargers are leading 14-7. Again, right now, second quarter, 5 minutes and 31 seconds to go. Chargers up 14-7. Good old Antonio Gates. Will the Eagles repeat? That is the question. That's the question. Will they repeat? I'm going to say I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna take the field in this one. I'm gonna take the field in this one. It's not that I don't think that they'll be doing great. 'Cause I think that they will do great, but you got to stay healthy. That's the fact. You got to stay healthy. And this time around, they're probably going to force Jalen Hurts to have to throw that ball. And last year, we saw that even though they won the Super Bowl, there was a bit of a struggle when it came to just consistently passing the ball. It just had to come down to just Saquon being just Superman every single game. Can I ask the man to do that the entire season again, including the playoffs and stuff? That's tough. That's tough. So I'm gonna say no, but they will come close. They will come close, but it's hard to win a Super Bowl back to back. It is extremely hard to do that. The Chargers, nice run there. Picks up about 9 yards before he's tackled from behind, but that's a first down there for the Chargers. All right, Sammy says, "Okay, thank you, JB. Absolutely." And Mr. JB says, "How you doing, old man?" And she says, "That's his name, JB Mitchell Trubisky." Ah, yes, Mitchell Trubisky. Quick pass there completed to the back. Again, that was vital with the reception. But yeah, watching Antonio Gates, him and Philip Rivers was something special together out there back in the day. But yeah, careful how you talk about Mitchell Trubisky, RC. I believe Carmichael loved him some Mitchell Trubisky when he was on the Steelers. All right, so you picked up there on the play. And we're getting closer and closer to halftime. We got about just over what 3 minutes to go here before halftime. Chargers up 14-7, moving the ball right now. Samuel says, "Hey, you JB watching the Super Bowl?" And so JB did watch the Super Bowl. I did watch the Super Bowl there. And so I was very happy with the outcome there. I did not want to see the Chiefs win again. So I was very happy with the outcome to see the Eagles win. It was basically like anybody but the Chiefs, and JB was happy. And JB feels like a hater saying that, but that was the fact. So a penalty here hasn't been too many penalties, I feel like, in this one. This was illegal use of hands. And with being the first preseason game, I wouldn't have been surprised if there was a lot of mistakes. But I feel like considering it is the first preseason game, not many mistakes. Kenny Pickett. Yeah, good old Kenny Pickett. That guy too. Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky. Those were his boys. And now Kenny Pickett's on the Browns. So now he absolutely hates the guy, I'm sure. Play fake. Throws it. Oh, what a catch there. 42 is a solid looking guy. But what a nice pass there to get it to him. Samuel says both Kansas City Chiefs to win. So you got the Chiefs winning it this year, Samuel? Based upon what they typically do, I mean, they would be considered, I would think, the one of the favorites there, especially if Rashid Rice can go out there and he can play, like most of the season. And also Isaiah Pacheco coming back from that injury he had last year. I know he wasn't doing what he typically was before that, but if he can get back to who he was prior, that's going to help them out tremendously as well. Their offense the last couple of years were held back, but it wasn't necessarily, like I guess you can say Patrick Mahomes' fault or anything like that. Like 2 years ago, they had no receivers. Last year, they had a lot of injuries and stuff. So, and then offensive line problems too. But this year, they can be scary. They can be scary. All right, RC says, JB, you like Travis Hunter to my Jags. That's your other team there. And so I do like it for Jacksonville there. I like it for Jacksonville. I like it for him. He wants to play both sides of the ball there. It's a lot better he ends up in Jacksonville than him actually ending up in Cleveland and stuff like that. I'll say that. But is he going to go out there and win a lot of games? I don't anticipate that. But going to the AFC South there, there's really nobody to too much fear. I mean, yeah, the Texans, yeah, they can, be a playoff team there. But considering, you get to play the coach twice, you get to play Titans twice there, it's okay. That's a good deal. That's a good deal. So I'm excited for him. And I'm most excited to see how the coaching staff plans on using him. That's what I'm most excited to see. I do wonder who's going to draft him in fantasy football, though. Archie says, I might have to go back to being a Vikings fan. JB used to he was a Vikings fan from 95 to 2019. Then you became a Jags fan. And then you've been a Cowboys fan since 1993 to no end. And so, well, if those are your options there, those three options right there, depends on what you're looking for. Depends on what you're looking for. Samuel says, my mom and dad married on so your parents got married June 14th, 1986, and June 14th, 2025. Happy anniversary of 39 years there. Well, happy anniversary to them, Samuel. Absolutely. Did you get them a gift? She says, not the best time. Start bench cut Kyle Orton, Gus Farrat, Mark Sanchez. My man just throwing random. I mean random people out there. First of all, I'm not starting Mark Sanchez, although he was a part of some good Jet teams there, and they haven't had a season quite like that since him. I'll say, but that butt fumble kills it all. But Kyle Orton, I mean, Kyle was probably average. Like he's not getting cut off this list. He's not getting cut. Now Gus Farrat, I liked me some Gus Farrat back in the day, but not to start. Man, you put some options up there, man. You put some options up there for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and dang it, I said I was not gonna start Mark Sanchez. Ooh, but that's tough, man. That's tough. Anybody else want to help JB out with this one? Because this one is tough. This one's tough. Because I don't want to say the word start Mark Sanchez. I don't want to say those words, but at the same time, Kyle Orton should be my bench guy. I don't want to cut Gus Farrat, but I might have to start Mark Sanchez. So I have to choose retirement in that one, RC. Black medicine in the building. What's good with you? He says he's going to be useless in Jacksonville. All right, Lance throws it up there. Incomplete. Incomplete. So with under 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter, again, the score right now, Chargers 14, Lions 7. And right now, Lewis is needing them to not score at all. He needs a mistake. He needs a mistake. And it says Black is in the building. Let's see. All right, so Samuel went and got some barbecue. You got him some barbecue chicken to celebrate their 39th anniversary. Okay. All right, he says, JB, I'm looking for a Super Bowl. All right, so Lewis says keep Kyle Orton. Yeah, I would keep him for sure because he kept things afloat. I feel like, oh man, touchdown there for the Chargers and Lewis. The over is looking, I mean, the under is looking terrible right now, flat out terrible. They've already got 27 combined points there. This extra point would make it 28. You took the under at what, 34.5? They might get that before halftime. This is exactly why I avoided this game. Which he says bench Orton. We all agree that Orton should be on the bench. We all believe that. So the extra point is good. So it's 21-7 here in the second quarter, but a minute and 51 seconds left to go. Playing like it's a playoff game. That's how they feel. And so let's see. Black man says, I forgot about this game. I heard Lance is doing well so far. He is. He is, except for that one throw that I think he threw like in the end zone and stuff like that. Other than that, he's doing pretty good. You know what? That may not have been him. That may have been Allen that threw that pass. Samuel says, "Hey JB, what is safe?" And she says, "JB, what about cut all and start the fourth stringer?" And so I'd be highly concerned who that fourth stringer is, because something tells me if those are your top three quarterbacks, that fourth stringer is probably someone like um what's that guy name who was like Jim Sorgi, probably someone like that is your fourth string quarterback in that scenario, and that is not the route JB will take under any circumstances. Let's see. Archie says start in Carmichael. What's good? How we doing? How was the trip, man? How's your summer been? And let's see. Carmichael says, "Yo, JB, I'm dropping by for on my 15-minute break." And you said gotta go back to work soon. And so, oh man, Carmichael out there getting money, guys. That's what's up. Are you prepared for our fantasy league draft, which is towards the end of next month? And she says, start bench cut. Jeff George, Trent Green, Drew Bledsoe. Ooh, that's a good question there. I tell you what though, cut is definitely Jeff George. Let's get that out the way right there. He's cut. Uh, I'm actually going to start Trent Green. I'm going to start Trent Green. Drew Bledsoe had some years for sure, but just the consistency throughout his career, I'm going to say Trent Green start him, Drew Bledsoe on the bench. Could be vice versa, but I feel like if Drew had to come in the game, he could win it first. But that was a good one right there. That was a good one right there. But I'm gonna go Trent Green start. I'm a bench Drew Bledsoe because some of those years with the Cowboys and the Bills just wasn't all that great. And so, but Jeff George is getting cut. He is getting cut. Like says, I'm glad that Samuel's been able to lay his eyes on you, JB. Let's see. Laney says, go Jags. Duval, okay, okay. He's hyped up for the addition of Travis Hunter. RC says, hi, Laney, sup? And Carmichael says, I'm prepared. I'm gonna be taking my okay, your PPT. I'm sorry, PTO. Dang it, that was a struggle right there. PTO on that day, so you can come home early. And so, oh yeah, JB's been already practicing their different scenarios and just having an idea of what my board's gonna look like. You did great last year, Carmichael. You did great. Did you? How far did you get in the playoff? Because I know that you had like the best regular season record. So how far did you get in the playoff? And so Samuel says, "Oh, what is my shirt NBA?" So yeah, my shirt is actually NBA. So a combination of different teams there. It's got the Nuggets patch there, got the Heat there. So it's got basically every NBA team on it. So yeah. So here we go back to the game here. Shotgun formation, three receivers, one tight end, one back from their own 25-yard line here. Gets the snap. Kyle Allen throws it. Receiver hit the floor like it was a fire drill, guys. Like it just stop, drop, and roll. Incomplete. It says go home, Jag. Carmichael says, I got a jersey patch CJ Stroud card today. Hey, that's what's up. You said my life is honestly going great. Trip was good. We came home early and you work at Walmart now. Carmichael's out here leveling up. I feel like it feels like it was just yesterday when we were having conversations about football camp and stuff, football practice, and then also driving and stuff. And to see that you're out here, taking vacations and stuff, working, man, growing up fast here. So I was just like the Steelers last year. And so, oh man, how do you feel about the Steelers right now? That is the question there. I mean, Aaron Rodgers coming there, DK Metcalf, but getting rid of guys like George Pickens. I was shocked that they did that. I thought that they would want to keep both Pickens and also Metcalf there, but heck, I don't know what he was like every day in that locker room, so I get it. But that'll be interesting to see how they play out this year. I mean, Mike Thomas got to do something, man. At this point, go out there and play quarterback yourself. At this point, Laney says, "Hey, RC." Black Mesa says, "Got the LA Sparks jersey on." Black Mesa says, "Good deal, Carmichael." Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so you said, did you get the shirt at the store? And so yeah, I got it at the mall, Samuel. At the mall. Absolutely. I actually caught it on a good sale too. Like it was exactly on sale at the time I got it. So I was like, yeah, let JB get this now. And I'm glad I did because when I went back, it was like gone. Minty Carmichael says, I hope we win one playoff game, just one. I can't deal with another one and out either. We win 3 games or we win a playoff game. When's the last time the Steelers won a playoff game, Carmichael? I mean, now that you mention it, one and done. I remember years ago we were talking like this was like late in Ben Roethlisberger's career. I feel like I remember that was like a loss to the Chiefs that game, and so I'm wondering now when was the last time that you guys won a playoff game? Michael says, got my paycheck today and it was like 900. So you was hyped there. And so, hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. Get that money. Get that money. That's what's up. Oh, yeah. Nothing like getting that paycheck there. Absolutely. JB got paid and his bills got hyped. JB's bills got hyped because they were waiting more than JB was. Believe that. Michael says, JB, it was like 9 years ago. 9 years ago. Are you serious? Man, time is wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. Samuel says sad prayers for people at Texas flood and stuff. Oh man, Samuel, yeah, that was heartbreaking there. That was heartbreaking. Absolutely. To think like, if just what could have happened to prevent this stuff, it was just insane. Carmichael says, I don't have bills yet. Soon enough you will. Hey, enjoy every second of it of not having bills there. Cause like without bills, 900, that's a lot without bills. So hey, all JB can say is don't spend it all in one place. Like man just got paid yesterday and rent swallowed the paycheck, about to make your dog get a job. And so right? Absolutely. Like, dude, I can see it now. Dog out there, just delivering the stuff to cars, waiting for a treat. I can see it. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And so you save half of it, then like 450 you spend on yourself and your girlfriend there. And so you're a lot more responsible than JB at that age, that's for sure. To be able to save half of it like that, because dude, JB was spending the check like it was gonna come right back. Only problem was it wasn't. So I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. Investing for the future and enjoying the present. That's great. Diamond says new NCAA college football 26 with PlayStation on PS5 and Xbox Series. And so, have you played it yet, Samuel? And who else here has played NCAA college football 26? I hear that college hoops EA I guess in what 2 years they'll be making a college basketball game again. So that's exciting news. All right, speaking of exciting here, Trey Lance is trying to continue upon his success so far. Gives it to the back, and the back is gonna pick up about a good 5 yards on the play. Again, Vital's been getting quite a few carries so far in this one. All right, and Carmichael says, "All right, gotta go back to work. Don't get off for about 2 more hours. See you later." Well, definitely appreciate you coming through there, Carmichael, and we will definitely hear from you soon there. And hey, have a great rest of your shift. While the carry there, just maybe a yard on the play there, but excellent job there by the defense to stop that one, specifically in the interior. What an interesting last name that guy's got. All right, let's see. Lewis says sportsbooks pay your bills there. That must be nice, Lewis. That must be nice. Black Messenger says JB was reckless in grad school, as reckless as any typical Florida Gator athlete. Oh man, those were the days. And that takes us to halftime. So right now, if you're just listening in right now, the Chargers are up 21-7. And the Chargers actually will get the football to start off the second half when we do come back. So right now, Chargers Chargers up 21-7 over the Detroit Lions here. Again, neither team really started their starters here, so definitely got to keep that in mind here. But the Chargers, they've been looking pretty good in this one. I mean, it says the new NCAA college football 26 game price at $59.99. Jamie said he's gonna buy him like 3 copies just cause. Just cause. But yeah, I mean, man, I remember back in the day when video games, I used to think that like $50 was a lot, 49.99, 39.99, but man, $70. And they're only increasing. Like Vincent says, hey, I have played a little bit. I made a team called a Fighting Dow for Dalmatians. Oh, nice. Nice. Now, do they have the spotty jerseys? Do they have that now? That's what I want to know. Because if they actually have it like looking legit like that, now that would be interesting. Because I feel like you would get a sponsor from like some type of, like obviously PetSmart, all that great stuff. But that would be interesting to have. All right. So Samuel says new NCAA college football 25 on a PlayStation 5 Xbox Series. Bet. Oh, they still got a weak team builder site. That's no fun. That is no fun. I mean, it's got so much potential. You would think that they would invest a lot more time in that because, like, there's so many creative ideas out there that you can, like, just to enhance your experience. So why not just go the extra mile? Is what I would think. So she says, JB, I made it through some things most wouldn't. It had an adverse effect. It builds character and resolve, but it also makes me ask, how much stuff do I have to keep putting up with? RC, you said a mouthful there. Absolutely. I mean, things have been tough. Things have been tough. I'm not gonna lie. Things have been extremely tough. I know they said Adulton was, hard, but man, like it's like playing on that all Madden mode, but you haven't played Madden in about 7 years, type of hard, But hey, you keep surviving and thriving. Over 1,000 subscribers, man, you're doing pretty good. I remember before, I think right before I stopped streaming and stuff, you were going through the whole, job situation and all like that, before JB started going through it as well. So, you bounced back and I'm proud of you. You're doing great. You are doing great. She said somebody stole one of my video games I really loved and got it for $20 on sale. And she said trying to replace it. The starting price to purchase is now like $51 to $71. $51 to $71, and when you got it, it was like $20. I mean, man, man, you might want to find who did this and steal it back at that point, RC, because I this is that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, we are kind of right now here at the halftime here of the Hall of Fame game between the Chargers and the Lions, two teams that have high hopes this upcoming season. It says, JB, what's some of the things you look for on field from football players during the NFL preseason? Well, specifics that I look for, it just comes down to the positions that I'm, evaluating there. But if it's a quarterback, I'm looking for poise. Obviously, if you're a second quarterback, third quarterback, you're probably playing with guys that aren't going to make the roster. I get that. Offensive line could be bad. Play calling's not going to be all that creative like it would be there. But do you mentally look like you belong? Are you going to go out there and look like, I don't know, like Mac Jones a couple seasons ago with the Patriots and just look lost or something like that? Like when you get hit, how do you bounce back up? Do you remember the things we told you in practice? Obviously, I'm not there in practice, but like if I was, someone evaluating that, that's what I would look for. So poise, consistency, and just going through your reads if you're a quarterback there. If you if you make the right read and the receiver drops it there, it's not on you. These guys are they're fighting for a spot. Now, if we're talking about offensive line, I need to see the offensive line looking nasty. I need to see you go out there and beat the guy in front of you because that's what your job basically is. If you're a lineman and you're like a second or third stringer at this point of the preseason, is to go out there and beat the man in front of you. And I want it to be convincing. When we run the ball, I didn't see you getting after it. I don't need to see you out there reaching and stuff like that because you can't get in front of the guy. No, move them feet, then move the man in front of you. If I'm looking at a lineman. Now, a receiver, how much separation are we getting out there? Are you running the routes the way that it's drawn up to run? Are you making it easy for the quarterback to find your numbers and to find your hands? And when your ball get to you, you got to catch the ball. You just got to catch the ball. And so, and clearly, I'm talking about offense here, but defense. How fast are we flying to the football? When we get there, how many guys are missing tackles before we make the tackle? We can't be relying on the third guy to get there to make the tackle. So, all that stuff, all that stuff. Black Medicine says RC has been out here hustling and working hard on his channel while JB sat in his mansion and twiddled his thumbs while his channel burned like Rome. Sent Samuel into a frenzy looking for him. And so that is funny. That is funny. If only JB had a mansion like that. If only. And if I did, that would probably mean the 80s is the one that built it at that point. But let's see. RC says JB has approximately 1,110 subs. And so, hey, it's a nice number. It's a nice number. Only grows from there. Only grows from there. Before you know it, you'll be at 1,500. Then you'll be creeping on 2,000. Then you'll be at like 4,000, and it just keeps growing. Let's see. He says JB was raking in thousands and thousands by day. He playing the long game. I'm sure of it. Black medicine. Speaking of black medicine, appreciate the first super chat here that we've gotten of the new season here. So appreciate that. You say sitting around waiting for the Bama streams. And so, oh man, talk to us. What are your expectations for Alabama this upcoming season here? Can we guarantee that Bama's going to make it to the college football playoff this year? I strongly feel like they will be in the college football playoffs. 'Cause I feel like when you look at their schedule this year, I feel like they should win, those a lot of those games to where at the end of the year they'll be in that conversation. Now, obviously, you don't know, how every team's going to play, but on paper right now, it looks like yeah, they should be one of the teams to get in there. I mean, there's a lot of seats. Why not? She says Samuel's the real MVP because he asked me and Zoe, where in the world is JB looking for JB in the daytime with a flashlight? Hey, Samuel kept things afloat. He kept things afloat and kept JB Nation alive, really, all by himself. So shout out to Samuel. Black Manson says best defense in the country for an offensive team. Well, tell me this. Tell me this. When we're talking about, the SEC this upcoming season, who's going to be this year's, I guess, surprise team or a team that's going to come from being kind of mediocre last year and maybe they have like a lot of guys returning this year. Maybe you're expecting a big leap from their quarterback or whatever, but who's going to be this year's team that last year they may have been okay, they may have been on the verge of being good, but this year they might just actually put it all together if you have a team in mind when it comes to the SEC from last year. I've been hearing a lot this offseason about South Carolina. I've been hearing a lot about them. And quite frankly, they had a pretty good team last year if they were just consistent. I never know what to expect from Auburn, though. I'm not gonna lie. I never know what to expect at all from Auburn. He says, JB, are you doing college football again on streams? And so, absolutely, absolutely. NFL and college football for sure. Preseason, I'll probably just do, I don't know, maybe twice out the week for preseason. But once we get to like college football and the NFL regular season, then I'll probably do three. Not sure. I'll probably rotate, between like the third one being either Monday or Thursday. I doubt I'll do both of those Monday and Thursday in the same week, but for sure Saturdays and Sundays. Absolutely. Let's see. Like Mason says, maybe about to go back into hibernation soon. That would be insane. That'd be insane to wake up. At that point, I basically became a Snorlax at that point. If I'm just gonna wake up temporarily and then after one battle just go back to sleep and stuff. So that's basically what I can't think of nothing else to compare it to at that point. If I'm only awake for one stream and then I'm like hibernating for another like 180 days, that would be insane. That would be insane. Samuel, tell me this, Samuel. Have you still been roaming the streets of Mississippi, Samuel? Tell me that. Tell me that. See, she says, JB, they keep going with and saying it's her hammy. Oh, yeah, they've been saying that a lot. Versus grown and then other hammy. Oh man, they're rotating hammies now. I didn't realize that they were rotating hammies. I thought it was the same one. It said, my thing is just sit down and heal up as much as humanly possible. And so oh yeah, when you went to the hammy and then back to the groin and stuff, I was like, okay, that was Caitlin. That was Caitlin. You had me for a minute there, and so, but I got you. I got you. And CRC says JB gonna retire and unretire like MJ. Yeah, if only JB can win some championships like MJ does first, that would be nice. That would be real nice. Steve Lennon says that JB been betting big on WNBA, and so I've been getting my attention. That's what's been keeping my attention there is the simple fact that it's like, uh, WNBA figuring out because JB likes taking unders. I like taking unders a lot more than taking overs because coaches be frustrating JB when I take the over and the players don't play that much or they get injured. JB doesn't like losing that way, so I prefer taking unders. Let's see. You got to put the emoji, Samuel. You got to put the emoji. You got to put the emoji here. All right. You know what? Is this the first time that we've actually been able to like see the comments on the screen here from this layout? I know I used to when I was using like Streamlab before, but ever since I switched over to StreamYard, I don't think that we've done this before. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time I've been able to actually display the chats on the screen here. So interesting. See. Says who retires first, LeBron or JB? Good question there. And so I guess you can say LeBron because JB will never officially retire. So absolutely. And we're getting ready for the looks like the second half to get started here. That was a quick halftime, I feel like. All right, she says, I was lucky to never get hurt playing basketball in high school and briefly in college. All I dealt with is a rolled ankle and sprained ankles. And so that sounds pretty painful to me there, RC. But you make it sound like it's light work. Oh, look at that return. Still fighting his way and clawing his way to about the 42-yard line there. That was Miller Hines on the return. Again, to start off the third quarter, Chargers up 21-7. Jersey says LeBron will play until Bronny turns 40. No, those are some high aspirations, RC. I can't even lie. I cannot even lie. Let's see. Blackman says, wait a minute. Samuel isn't typing in all caps anymore. Imposter. Ooh, good call out. Good call out. Blackman says, to my knowledge, yeah. Blackman says, JB, Underdog's been trying to force him into retire. They have. They have. They have. I've been doing my best to try to avoid them so that way they can want me back, but they just, Underdog doesn't like me. They say I've won too much on Underdog, so they've restricted my account multiple ways. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. This Underdog was my go-to, but they're like, nope. Now we're gonna limit you to how much you can put up and how much you can actually, and I can't use a player more than once. So I'm like, all right, I see y'all. See, once he said, I use StreamYard once or twice, JB, and so bet. What has been your go-to? What has been your go-to? Right now, while we're all enjoying the chat, somewhere back there, Lewis right now is breaking tables, saying that if either team scores a touchdown and ruins his bet, he is going to start flipping people at that point. All right, Chargers get the snap here. Lance still moving. Lance looking, runs, and picks up some nice yards there, making the most out of the situation. That's where you want to see that athleticism. When the play breaks down there, that's when you have that athleticism. Let me ask you guys this. Is anybody here believing that Justin Fields is going to have a breakout year this year, so much so that you want to draft him in fantasy football? Does anybody here believe in Justin Fields with the Jets of all teams? Let me know in the chat. All right, 2nd and 10. Lance feeling the pressure. Lance throws it, gets the completion. Would have been better off getting an incompletion there. Excellent job there by the Lions. I don't know if Lewis just flat out just gave them the Chargers playbook at halftime, but whatever it is, it's inspired these guys. All right, he says, JB, who has the better record this year? Cowboys, Broncos, or Dolphins? Ooh. Well, I will say this. Dolphins have had a couple injuries there. I'm a little concerned with them. And then if Tua's going to stay healthy all season, so I'm not going to say them. Um, I do like what the Broncos have. It's just a matter of, Bo Nix, year two, does he have a sophomore slump? But I do like what they have, but they're in a tough division there. Cowboys, not a big believer on them, but if you ask me to pick one right now, I think I'd give the edge slightly and very slightly in this scenario to the Cowboys because I feel like the Broncos have finished maybe third in their division. It's a very tough division. I think the Cowboys have the potential to finish second if all things go well. And what Dak Prescott has shown is every other year he happens to do pretty good. So we'll see if that's the case. Now for the Dolphins, they're already getting bit by the injury bug, and I think it's just going to continue to get worse. I don't trust Tua to play the whole season. I really don't. And I don't know what's going on with Tyreek. I don't. So I'm just going to say the Cowboys here by default. Yo, you just who touched the ball? Who touched the ball? Oh, I'm telling you, these Lion players, they must have placed a bet against themselves at this point. I mean, this is the same NFL team that had what, like 2 or 3 guys suspended last year for gambling or something like that, or kicked off the team. I don't know. Look at that. Look at that, bruh. Who does that? Get away from the ball. That's how you don't make the team. That's how you don't make the team. That's how you end up, just completely in a different occupation at that point. Look at that. The Lions with 4 turnovers compared to the Chargers with 0 turnovers. That's insane. That's insane. He's not even trying. Like man says, I saw where PrizePicks has started allowing you to use a more than once in your lineup. I did get that notification. I haven't got to put it to use yet, but that's going to come in handy. That's going to come in handy. If I see somebody has a terrible matchup and stuff like that, and I can do that, whoa, look out. I might abuse the system. I might be the reason they stopped that. Jesse Samuel says live stream end out 6 months ago. It's been 6 months. That's crazy. And Lewis is like, yes. And, oh man, Lewis, I know you were holding your breath when that ball went through Fitzpatrick's hands like that. That was wild. That was wild. I really don't know how else to help you out there, Samuel, but we can't let them score no touchdown. Okay, running back there, and that's Patterson on the carry. Picks up maybe a yard or two there. As RC says, Justin Fields, I hope he will do good, but I ain't betting nothing on it. Not at all. So RC says he would be foolish to bet money on that. He says his Popeye's chicken has gotten cold. Oh man, RC, come on, man. I have not known you to be a guy to let chicken get cold, man. Come on now. You gotta do better than that, RC. All right, third and goal. Lance tries to throw one up. Oh, terrible throw, terrible throw. Incomplete. Incomplete. All right, so that brings up a fourth down there. What are you doing? Exactly. Oh man, it feels good to have football back. It feels good to have football back. SM says start, bench, cut. Ooh, David Garrard, Teddy Bridgewater, Tyrod Taylor. Ooh, that you see what you did there. I see what you did there. Because all three quarterbacks can serve as excellent backup there. Just depending on, where they are in their career. I've always liked Tyrod Taylor's game. He's just been unfortunate. I mean, heck, even the medical staff took him out that one time he was going to be a starter. But David Garrard had a couple Pro Bowl years, I feel like, down there in Jacksonville. So if I got to start one, I'm probably going to end up starting David Garrard. I just hope I catch him during the good year that he had. I probably would end up having. I feel like Teddy has shown when he took over for Drew Brees as the backup that year for the Saints, and the Saints kept things rolling. I feel like Teddy Bridgewater can be a good quarterback. Tyrod Taylor has shown me he can consistently be good, but he never wins for his team though. Like it's just, you know. But I'm probably I don't know. Teddy Bridgewater does get hurt often. He does get hurt often, but I'm probably just going to end up starting David Garrard, and I'm going to put Teddy on the bench. So unfortunately, that means Tyrod Taylor. But very unfortunate for him. I do like Tyrod Taylor, but his teams don't win. His teams just don't win, and that's why I made that decision. Meanwhile, Black Medicine says he's going to start Taylor. Steph, what's good with you, Steph? Steph says, "Go Chargers." How are you? And then Black Medicine says, "Benching Garrard and cutting Bridgewater." And so it depends on what version of Garrard we're getting here, but I'm just going to assume we mean his better years as opposed to his worst years. All right. We're currently here at the commercial here. Chargers had to settle for a field goal. So it's 24-7. So if you took the under like Lewis did at 34.5 right now, sweating bullets is an understatement right now. You are literally yelling at these defensive coordinators, especially the Detroit Lions defensive coordinator, saying, "What are you doing?" But a lot more excitement than JB's using right there. When is everybody's fantasy football drafts coming up? Because I know we've probably got about a little less than a month for most of us before we get to our fantasy football drafts. But anybody that does participate in this year's fantasy draft, when do you guys have your fantasy draft? That says, good. My Phillies trade for Harrison, batter, great base runner. And so bet, bet, bet. Life must be good. Life must be good. Yes. Speaking of which, let's see. Yeah, so going back to my question earlier about in the SEC, a team that was kind of like mid or maybe even good, but not great, not above, like just above average. But who's a team that was middle of the pack last year that you guys think can rise to compete for like one of the top spots in the SEC this year? But maybe a lot of guys returning. Maybe the transfer portal was nice to them. Maybe they upgraded their quarterback or another year in the system. Whatever reason it is, who's rising and also who's falling in the SEC. Good to see Hudson on that sideline. They sure could have used him last year come playoff time. All right, and also I can't see from this screen, but how many likes do we currently have right now? As I cannot see it from this screen here, so I'll have to sign in on my phone to view it. All right, from their own 35-yard line, play fake here, and oh, nice spin move there, and he's going to take off and run before he slides. All right, so a nice pickup of about maybe 3 yards there on the play, but great job turning that into something because that was certainly going to be a negative play. So 2nd and 8, shotgun formation here. Gives it to the back off the right side, cuts it up the middle. All right, picks up about 3 yards there, but there is a penalty. All right, so Steph says your Eagles play Cowboys week 1, and you got the Eagles winning. And so, oh man, cannot wait for us to get to week 1. Once we get to week 1, man, that's going to be awesome there. That's going to be awesome there. All right, but the Eagles and Cowboys there week 1. That's going to be a fun one to get things started. Fun one to get things started. All right, SM says he thinks we're at 10 likes here. Appreciate that right there. Okay, bet. Hopefully we can get a couple more likes in there. So RC says start, bench, cut. Don Marion, Lamar Odom, and then Oh man, this is a good one. This is a good one. So might be a little bias here. Might be a little bias here, but JB for sure is going to keep Lamar Odom. I mean, he's meant too much to me with my Lakers and stuff. So um, good one. What do you guys think in the chat? What do you guys think in the chat? Before JB reveals the rest of his list here, what do you guys think about this one? I'll leave this one up here for a second. What JB's thinking here. I think now Sean Marins has done some things, but I just don't like it. I didn't like his shot then. I don't like it now. Who was that? Oh, that was almost an interception. Almost intercepted. He practically gift wrapped it to him just about. Let's see what you guys say. Essence says that's a good one, RC. RC says, "Listen, let's hear what you would do." All right, so Lewis takes the first crack here. Okay, so okay, that's solid. That's solid right there. That's solid. RC says, meanwhile, punts on the way. All right, so all right, for Lewis' sake, I hope we see a lot more defense, but we'll see how that plays out. All right, so cut Marion there. Okay. Yeah, I might lean towards that as well. I do like Odom coming off the bench though, because like he's like sixth man of the year many years. So Odom coming off the bench is a must. And so yeah, I agree. All right, so Blackman says start Lamar Odom if I'm going to a party with Rick James. Steph says that Terry requested a trade from the Washington Commanders. And so yes, I saw that. And my first initial reaction to that, honestly, is that Washington would have to be crazy to trade him away. I mean, that like the teams finally got some good momentum because remember, years ago when they was up under, Ron Rivera and stuff like that, this team was headed in the wrong direction. They really was. And now you finally got the draft right. You finally got some players there, a place where players want to actually go. And, Terry McLaurin's a big part of that. The chemistry between him and your quarterback, I can tell you right now, quarterback without his number one receiver, that's tough. That's tough. So, quite frankly, they got to make this work. They got to make this work. At least communicate with him. I feel like Terry's a reasonable person, just my opinion. I feel like he's a reasonable person. If they come with a respectful offer, I feel like eventually he would sign. Now, do I know the situation like that? No, but they need him. I know that much. So, so he says, anyone here seen Happy Gilmore 2 yet? You said I have only seen the first 10, 15 minutes, and you'll get back to it soon. Well, when did you watch the first 10, 15 minutes? M says, starting Marion, okay, and then you're gonna bench Odom, okay, because he was better as a six man. I mean, that's the same reason why I chose Odom there for my six man, honestly, as some there, because I feel like during his peak, he was tremendous coming off the bench there. You're prioritizing defense there. Okay. It does come down to preference, honestly. It comes down to preference there. But one thing we all agree on is having Odom come off that bench. I was so mad when the Lakers traded him for some cap considerations years ago. All right, and again, we're here in the third quarter. Chargers up 24-7 here with about 9 minutes and 49 seconds to go here in the third. All right. Receiver goes in motion, gives it to the back, and the back cuts up and oh, gets slung down there after picking up about a good 6 yards on the play. 9 minutes and 35 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. And that hole opened up because really that left side of the line did an excellent job of getting their guys on the floor. But man, I'll tell you what, as a running back, you might want to stay on your feet rather than getting picked up and then slammed by two defenders like that. All right, shotgun here, three receivers, one tight end, one back. Tight end goes in motion here. Detroit shifts a couple defenders on that D line. It's a draw play. And he's going to get close to the first down marker. Let's see where they mark the football at. Does he have enough for the first? We shall see. Let's see. RC says bench cut. Oh, RC's coming through with him today. LaDainian Tomlinson, Jerome Bettis, Marshawn Lynch. Well, first of all, my starter is going to be LaDainian Tomlinson. I have seen consistent MVP caliber years from LaDainian Tomlinson. So now it comes down to who's going to be my power back. Will it be Jerome Bettis or Marshawn Lynch? And I'm going to take Marshawn Lynch in that case. I'm just going to do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love what Jerome Bettis did for the Pittsburgh Steelers there, but Marshawn Lynch going beach mode coming off the bench with LT starting for me. Yeah, that's what I got. I got LT starting, Marshawn off the bench. Better luck next time, Jerome. But the bus stops here. Steph says, I've been to the Hall of Fame building before. How was it, Steph? How was it? How was your experience? What are your thoughts on it? SM says they got a trade exception for Odom that turned into Steve. Way to kick JB just remembering that. I mean, my man got hurt, what, carrying a bag off the plane? I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, Steve Nash hated the Lakers so much that when he knew he had nothing left to give, he joined the Lakers to destroy us from within. That's what he did. Destroyed us from within. That was don't get JB started about that. So with about 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go, second and third right now. Score is Chargers 24, Lions 7. Chargers with the football. Play fake. Lance looking. Lance throws it. Gets the completion here. And that's a first down here for the Chargers as they continue to milk that clock. Lewis is saying not fast enough, though. Lewis says LT and then Lynch. Okay. SM says LT and Bettis. Okay. She says pull over the bus and let out Jerome. Jeff says to meet Ray Lewis. Okay, so you went there to meet Ray Lewis? Oh man, I can imagine a conversation with Ray Lewis. How did that go? All right, another run here. Fights hard there to pick up about a good 8 yards on the play. She says stop, cut. Tony Parker, Steve Nash, John Stockton. Ooh, and I'm going to assume that the Steve Nash we're referring to is not the one that I saw on my team. So I'm just going to try to remove that from my memory right there. All right. So which one? Yeah, yeah. SM. He's putting some good ones up there. Honestly, I'll leave this up here for a second. All right, and tries to run it again here, but the choice says, nah, we're not going to do it. All right, again, third quarter, 5 minutes and 43 seconds to go. Again, the score right now, Chargers 24, Lions 7 in this one. Trey Lance still in there at quarterback for the Chargers. But this is big right here, 3rd and 3. This is big for Lewis anyways, if nothing else. Oh, what a nice play there by the back to get to the outside. Big pickup there for the Chargers and a first down. All right, so I feel like based upon what they contribute, if I'm looking for a passer here, I'm going to have to choose between Nash and Stockton if I'm looking for that pure passer there. Whoo, man, the questions we were putting up here today. Let's see what everybody else says. Esm says another good one by RC. RC says start John Stockton. Yep. And then I'm flipping a quarter between Parker and Nash. And so, yeah, Stockton's going to run the point. But I feel like, in all honesty, I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to also start Nash. As much as I hate to do it, as much as I hate to do it, there, I'm also start Steve Nash there. Those two have been an excellent combination there. Don't get me wrong, I like what Parker did. But we don't have, Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan. We don't have those guys with him. So that's probably what I would do. But that was a tough one though. That was a real tough one. Like I really could have changed that anyway. All right, so 12 yards away from the end zone here. Guy goes in motion. Lance keeps it. Lance looking to run. Goes out of bounds after picking up a couple yards there, using that athleticism that's kept them in the league. With 3 minutes and 42 seconds to go here in the third quarter, again, Chargers up 24-7. But the Chargers, they've got points on the mind, but only Lewis's dreams right now is stopping them from reaching the end zone. Lewis is giving it all he's got. Ethan says, cut Nasty, Rob Kobe of some MVPs. That he did. That he did. Carson says, which one of these preseason teams tonight, JB, are more likely to miss the postseason? Well, if we're talking about most likely to miss the postseason, I gotta say the Chargers. I gotta say, although I am looking hard at Detroit, given what all the coordinators that they lost, how they gonna look in the regular season. But overall, Chargers have a very tough path to get there. We all know about Kansas City. We know the Broncos are looking pretty good there, and then the Raiders with Geno, him, and then what's his name? Pete Carroll also at head coach. We'll see what they look like. But honestly, it's going to be tough coming out of the AFC West. It's going to be very tough. So for that reason, there, I feel like Detroit has a better chance to make it. So in that case, that means my answer is the Chargers are more likely to miss the postseason. 7 throws it up there. Is it caught? That's a touchdown. That is a touchdown, and that's going to ruin a night for Lewis. 12 plays, 72 yards there, over 6 minutes in terms of time possession off the clock. Let's make sure it was a catch. Ooh, you might want to check this replay. You might want to check this replay here. That heel came down there on that white line. You may want to check the replay here. Let's see it again. Lewis is saying, throw that challenge flag right now. I think Pete Carroll and Gino would make the Raiders competitive. I do believe that, and you know what? I like it for fantasy football purposes too, for Brock Bowers there, Jacoby Myers. I like it for those guys especially. And then you have Genty in the backfield also. So they'll be a lot more exciting to watch, but they're probably a couple years away from it, resulting to anything. But we'll see how it plays out. You never know. Just as Ray Lewis was best player on the Ravens, yes, having him Having Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Chris McAllister, they had some guys. Like they had some defenders. That says Los Angeles Chargers better make playoffs this year. And so, I mean, if they get there, they cannot do like they did the last time they made the playoffs. That was when the Jaguars came back and defeated them in that playoff matchup. Was it not? That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing because I was ready to vouch and everything for Justin Herbert and stuff, but man, that man, whew, loss right there made me mad. And I'm not even a Chargers fan. That's because they got Bengals and Genty too. That's right. That's right. So the Raiders got some guys, that's going to be drafted fairly high in fantasy football this year. Question is, how good would their defense be? Lewis says, "Where's the challenge?" He wanted the challenge there, and he got it. Because right now the score 27-7. Mr. Archie says, "JB, do you like the Vrabel hiring? 1 to 10, what would you rate the hiring?" Honestly, I would give it an 8.8. Honestly, why do I like it so much? Because I realized by having Gerard Mayo, last year, we had no direction. He was basically a yes man that got an opportunity. He wouldn't even he wouldn't take accountability. Like, he would basically assign different people to different roles, which is cool, but you still gotta take accountability because those are the guys that you chose to put in those positions and stuff. He would say one thing, then he'll give a different answer the next time. There was no consistency. We had no game plan. We had no edge at all, each and every week, so we were just lost. The team was bad. His decision making was bad. So at least Mike Vrabel comes in with a certain swagger to him. He's certainly someone that I know is going to improve the run defense because you look at what he did at Tennessee. They may not have been great against the pass, but they have been good against the run. He brought in some people, and the best part about Mike Vrabel was that he's a pretty good recruiter. He brought in some guys and went after some guys that I wasn't even sure that we'd be able to, pull for the Patriots, but he put in quite the work to reshape this roster as quickly as possible and get some pieces. Now, sure, we have some money to go through here, but this player still got to want to come and sign with us. So I'm pretty happy with what I've seen so far from them. And I know that Mike Vrabel's going to have a game plan. And that's what we need. We need a coach that has a game plan, has a vision, that's done this before. And so hopefully we don't look exactly like the Tennessee Titans during their bad years, but I like the direction that we're headed there. We needed that. And I'm happy to have Josh McDaniels back. Because I mean, you look at the last time he was with the Patriots as an offensive coordinator. Heck, it was Mac Jones' first year, and he made Mac Jones look like Mac Jones could be somebody. And we all know that that's not true, but he made it look that way. So, all right. Meanwhile, the return here, and again, the score right now: Chargers 27, Lions 7. So, Lewis, 2 minutes and 53 seconds left to go in the third quarter here. All you can do is hope that they put the backups in and they just run this clock. That's all you can hope for. Let's see. RC says if Minnesota doesn't win it all this year, JB, I will be actually disappointed. And so Minnesota is an interesting situation there because here you go. Last year they had quite the team and quite the run, but you did not bring Sam Darnold back, which I don't blame them at all. You got to see what you can get from JJ McCarthy, but it's going to come down to JJ McCarthy. Is he really that guy? Because if he's not that guy, then congratulations, you had a team that probably can win 13 games this year, and they probably win like 7, 8, 9 if he's not that guy, which is still, good, but it's saying it could be good at 9 and 7, just depending on how everything else plays out. But if they want to win, then they're going to need for JJ McCarthy to actually go out there and perform at a higher level than Sam Darnold did from start to finish. Sam started off great, but late in the season, teams figured him out. I felt like they figured him out. He wasn't making plays. He just went back to, reverting to just trying to just manage the game as opposed to winning games. So we'll see how it plays out for Minnesota this year. That we will. Houston says, last year I had the Broncos in the playoffs before the season. I think the Panthers might be a sleeper team this year. And you know what? Inspired by what SM just said here, you guys let me know who are your sleeper NFL teams for this upcoming season. I would love to hear from you guys in terms of who are your sleeper teams this year. Because you might just be right. You might just be right, or you might just be wrong. Let me know. All right, so Seth says August 7th, the Eagles versus the Bengals. Eagles are home. So, okay, you know what? If I had to play the Bengals again, I want to play them earlier in the season. Y'all saw what happened last year when the Patriots opened the season against the Bengals. Had me thinking we might just actually be decent this year when we open up the season and beat the Bengals. So they're usually pretty bad to open up the season. It takes them about a good 4 games for the offense to figure things out for some reason. That'd be a nice one. It says the Minnesota Lynx 24, 23-4 with 17 games left this season. Really, just 17 games left. The season is flying. What do I think about Stephon Diggs? Stephon Diggs, I have two perceptions of him. What he does off the field, I want no part of it. I want no part of the extra stuff you're gonna hear about off the field when he's mad and stuff like that. But when he's locked in and he's on the field, he's exactly what we need and stuff, having a guy like Stephon Diggs, because he brings that number one dog mentality. Now, whether or not he still has it on the field, we're gonna see. From what I'm hearing in camp, I feel confident, especially with Drake May taking that next leap. He's gonna need Stephon Diggs there, so he's still got that dog in him. I feel like, but if he can just stay focused, don't have your name associated, like with anything off the field and stuff. Just stay focused and be a leader to the rest of those receiver groups. 'Cause that's what they needed, a leader, someone to show them how it looks like and to help them work on their technique and stuff, which he's doing, like it seems like so far in camp. So I'm optimistic about Stephon Diggs, but I need him to stay healthy and I need him to stay locked in. Can he give me that an entire season? If the ball doesn't go his way, is he going to go out there and get into Drake May's space on the sideline and stuff, or can he just understand his role? Like, hey, this is it. If I don't make it work here, then it's not going to be the same thing for me moving forward. So I'm optimistic about it. I think it will work out at least in year one. Year 2, year 3, we'll have to see how that goes, but year 1, I think it does work out. Let's see. We are talking about Minnesota. The thought you were talking about the Vikings at first when you said Minnesota. So that threw JB in a loop there. So here I am pissing off probably Minnesota fans for no reason, RC, so thanks for that one. That's JB, let's do this. Over, under, Vikings 12 wins. Over, under, Vikings 12 wins. Feel like the Vikings will probably finish almost exactly at 12 wins, but I'm gonna go ahead and say under. I'm gonna say 11 wins. I feel like it's 11 or 12, but rather than just put it exactly at 12 wins, I'll go ahead and say 11. That defense was amazing last year. It's hard to, have that defense be that level of amazing again. And then you have a new quarterback too, but at the same time, you still got your key players there on the outside. So I'm gonna say 11 wins. So I'm gonna go under in that one. All right. So RDC says, JB, what are your thoughts on the Shador Circus and Fiasco? Will be a thriving quarterback in this league or nah? My honest thoughts about Shador Sanders, coming from a guy that refused to stream a lot of those Colorado games because getting tired and stuff like that. Honestly, I feel like if they give him a real chance, and when I say real chance, I mean he gets to not just get in late in the game, but he actually gets to make a couple starts. Let's say 4 starts in a row. I think he'll win them over. But if they never give him a fair chance, then I don't see it working out there. So it's going to come down to I feel like he's fully capable. And now he's got the chip on his shoulder there as well. Now you can't be doing the stuff like the DUI stuff. You can't be doing that stuff. But I feel like if given a fair chance, Fedor Sanders can play in this league. I think that's evident. And whenever you take a guy that could have been like a first or second round pick and you slight him the way that they did, that just does something to a player mentally to where he's even more locked in or should be more locked in. But it's just going to come down to them giving him at least 4 games to start to see what he can do. And I don't know if they'll give him that chance, but if they do, I feel like he can do. And when I say be a like, I just mean like he can be a starter. I don't mean like a superstar. I don't think he'll be like a top 10 player or nothing like that. But he can be a starter given the right tools, the right coach, all that stuff. I feel like he does have that. I guess the pass completed there, about a good 4 yards there on the play. Says this game is over LA won. And so yes, that is exactly why we are not focused too much on the game there. But yeah, LA, they wanted it more. They wanted it more. Like from the first play of the game when Detroit fumbled that kick return, Chargers have been all over it. As it says Cardi B's gonna be at the game. Yeah, yeah, gotta watch her, because she might sneak near Robert Kraft. And right now, I wouldn't want anybody near Robert Kraft right now. You feel like the man would have a hard time just keeping his money in his pocket and not trying to buy whatever he wants there. So, yeah, keep her away from Robert Kraft. We don't need those problems. Just as Eagles #1 in power rankings, good teams. You say bum juice. This one says Browns are where quarterbacks go to die. Look at Baker now. And so, yeah, that's the truth. I mean, Deshaun Watson forgot everything about football. He had a couple other things going on as well, but he forgot everything about football. Only person that's done decent with the Browns lately was the last time Joe Flacco was there. That one, rodeo there, in which my man's been making paycheck after paycheck after that. That pretty much saved his career right there. It really did. Let's see. It says JB, the college basketball Auburn guard, said Petit Ford was hit with a DUI charge a month ago. He is supposed to be a future NBA draft prospect, and so yeah, definitely can't be having that. I mean, these players got to think about like their image and stuff. You're trying to put yourself in the best position here to be a part of somebody's franchise that they're investing millions in you. Like, you got to do better than that. So said the Eagles were going to draft Shador if the Browns didn't. And so, because the Eagles are an excellent team when it comes to recognizing value and talent. So I would not have been surprised if that would have been the case. And quite frankly, that would have been a good move for him. If I was Shador, I would have preferred that. I mean, because think about, the situation last year with Kenny Pickett coming into the game and stuff. I mean, that was okay there, but to have the weapons of a AJ Brown and a Devontae Smith for someone like Fedora who's a passer. Jalen Hurts, he does a lot of running and stuff, creativity, but in terms of a pure passer, oh, as a backup, Shador would have been a nice, in a backup role for the Eagles. So that would have looked nice for him. Like, throw the ball occasionally, bro. Like, what we doing? What are we doing? Samuel says, "Why not a blue wind?" And so, yeah, so right now, Samuel, we are not looking to add any additional mods here at the moment there, Samuel, but definitely we'll keep it in mind there, Samuel, moving forward. So Teddy Bridgewater sucked to throw him. And so Teddy Bridgewater, it amazes me the type of relationship he's got with the Detroit Lions, specifically Dan Campbell, to where my man can go out there and coach a high school team to a championship. And then he gets to come and play NFL and like, okay, I need some pocket money. I'll finish out the season as a backup there. And so, I mean, to me, that also tells me a lot about how they probably feel about Hendon Hooker, in all honesty. Like, yeah, they kept him around here, but at this man being a backup, they just won't let him be the backup. They've got to bring someone else. Now they've got Kyle Allen in there, as a second quarterback. So Hendon Hooker must not be performing at the way that I was hoping that he would perform. 'Cause I had some high hopes for Hendon Hooker because what he did at Tennessee, I like what he did at Tennessee. So I really was hoping that he can at least secure the backup role, but it doesn't seem that he's locking down that backup position at all. And so she says, Jamie, what are your thoughts on Tyrese Halliburton's Achilles tear? Oh man, that's rough, man. Because like he was having what you would call for him like a storied career, for him. And I hadn't felt that bad about an injury because I feel bad about a lot, many injuries, but I hadn't felt that bad about an injury. Probably going back to that time where what's his face? When Paul George had that injury like years ago, you know, that's tough. That is brutal. And I hated that for him to be at that moment. This is the moment that you put in all that sweat for, all the tears, all the big victories that it took to get to that point. Everybody calling him the most overrated player and stuff. And to go out there and you're proving it round by round, game by game, that even though we can't identify who the real mega superstar is, he goes out there and just plays team basketball. And they were doing great. And then to get hurt, you hate that. And then you got to miss the next season too. So you can only hope that when he comes back, it's that he can get back to it at a high level. So that's huge. That's huge. It was huge. I mean, it hurt them so bad that the center said, "You know what? I'd rather go to Milwaukee than to stay put and deal with a season without Halliburton." So that hurt. All right, Chargers again. Oh, excellent job there by Detroit, but there is a penalty here. She said 14 minutes remaining of game action right here on a football heavy channel of JB. And so it is football heavy, isn't it? Samuel says, okay, 10-4. Bet. Archie said he should change his name to Teddy Under the Bridge Sewer Water. Now, why would he do something like that, RC? And so let's see. JB, are you on the Cooper Flag hype train? Do you think he will be a superstar or a Hall of Famer or neither? Ooh. I feel like I feel like he'll be a star in the league. A star on the verge superstar, but I'm gonna say a star. I feel comfortable saying star. I don't want to label everybody a superstar. Can he become a superstar? Absolutely. Now, Hall of Famer, I'm not ready to crown somebody at this point here. Um, but I feel like he'll be a star. He'll be a star in time, maybe a superstar, but I'm just gonna say star. Is how I'm comfortable saying that. But I am on a hype train though. I am on a hype train there. It's just a matter of the ceiling. The ceiling is the ceiling Hall of Fame level. Nah, that's my question. Just as Saquon is best running back. And so it really goes to show, when a running back of his caliber actually has an offensive line in front of him. Because think about just the year before that, when he was with the Giants, nobody was saying Saquon was the best there, even though we knew Saquon was that guy coming out of college. It's just the Giants offensive line was that bad. It was that bad. But then you go to a team like the Eagles, and like it was like a match made in heaven there. So shout out to them, because not only that, Derrick Henry with Baltimore last year. I mean, he looked great. Because I'm not gonna lie, his last year in Tennessee, I mean, it's a bit of a struggle. I feel like behind that offensive line, but going to a place where the offensive line is good, that helps out tremendously. Helps out tremendously. That's why when it comes to a guy like Ashton Genty, I'm over here questioning how good is the Raiders' offensive line right now when it comes to run blocking. Now, I hadn't paid too much attention about what additions they made on the offensive line, so if anybody can educate JB there, that'd be nice. But I am very curious. That's my one concern when it comes to fantasy football: is the offensive line in front of Ashton Genty going to be decent or not when it comes to run blocking? Because they were absolutely horrible last year when it came to running the ball down there for the Raiders last year. SM, it really does feel that way. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that, I felt that way too. I was like, come on now. You can't have a fairy tale thing happen every time. I'm right there with you. Nico Harrison back there pulling the string. Right, he says, JB, are you originally from Virginia? I am not originally from Virginia. Um, yeah, I've never actually been to Virginia. But good guess though, RC. I'll give you like a couple more guesses. Try to figure it out. As he says, JB, when they won the lottery, first thing I did and typed on social media was the Dallas math rig. Ah, It all makes sense now. It all makes sense. Absolutely. It all makes sense. Let me see. Who are the upcoming preseason games here? See if I can pull that up real quick. See what we got to look forward to. All right. See. That says, where am I from? And so, yeah, so for most of JB's life, I was born in Miami, Florida. So yeah, Miami, Florida is where I'm originally from. But I left Florida around 2007-ish. So yeah, around 2007 I left Florida and went to Georgia around that time frame. But yeah, originally Miami, Florida. See, Braden's back, or should I say Brayhawk is back. You missed Black Medicine earlier, Braden. But she said Super Black is supposed to be in Washington or Charlotte right now, period. But yet he found a way to come to Dallas somehow, some way. They probably asked him like, "Hey man, where you want to go right now?" He looked at that and said, "Not Washington. I sure wouldn't want to go to Washington. Not Charlotte. Heck, every time I think of Washington, I still think of John Wall. I mean, no matter which version of them you think of, they just hasn't been great. Either team." He said JB's from Tampa. Let's see, Brittany said Trey Lance has looked really good tonight. He has. What is it about Trey Lance that whenever he gets into a preseason game, the organization lets him play the entire preseason game? Because Dallas did this stuff last year too. It's like they're saying that he needs more rep in actual live action. They see something in camp they clearly like, but they're like they want to see it on the field, so they just play him the entire game. Just oop, close, but almost got it. SDR, he says, "Then where he play for now? See, well, Black will be happy with me. You hope that Bama rolls FSU. What did FSU do to you? I got to hear the story about that because I don't know the last time that Florida State played Iowa. Try to run play here. All right, so they're continuing to run the ball here. And at this stage of the game, that's to be expected to see both teams just come out looking to run the ball. And for Lewis's sake here, he still has hope alive that the under could still hit, but he cannot allow any other points in this one for the under to hit in this one. As she says, when I think of the Washington Wizards, JB, I think of Gilbert Arenas and Larry Hughes. Did Gilbert Arenas get arrested for some illegal gambling, or was that someone else? Not illegal gambling. What was it? But I think he made bail though. I think he made bail. But didn't Gilbert Arenas get in some legal trouble? Correct me if I'm wrong. You saying Larry Hughes? Oh man, I remember my brother used to play with the Cavaliers, and Larry Hughes was on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Larry Hughes. Jeff says that is crazy. Tomorrow is August. Yes, tomorrow is August, guys, and by the end of the month, we'll be talking about some real football, guys. So next month is that month. Hendon Hooker looking, and he's gonna scramble once again. I mean, he's been running a lot. He says, "Baby, I want Rudy Gobert off my Wolves, and you're sick of it." Anytime you got to have a guy like that to where when you play a certain matchup, like for example against Golden State, he just got to ride the bench. The only thing he's good for is JB taking the under on his points total and stuff like that during that matchup. That's it. That's it. Let's see. Braden says, "Well, last year they probably should have not played him the whole game, but that's the Cowboys for you." And so, yeah, when Jerry Jones makes an investment, he intends on getting every penny out of it. He says, "Yeah, Arenas got arrested." And so, yep, that's right. Yep, that's right. He did. He did. He did. I did not come into the stream anticipating we were going to be talking about Gilbert Arenas' arrest, but yes, he did. Essom says, "Yeah, illegal gambling ring." Okay, I knew it had something to do with illegal gambling there. And so it just doesn't make no sense. It just doesn't make no sense. And speaking of not making sense there, Hendon Hooker just runs straight up there and Yeah, that's it. That's it. Fourth down coming up. But this is exactly what Lewis needs. So maybe Hendon Hooker's on it. He should have made that throw. I mean, forgive me if there's some a defender on the outside, but to me, that's open by NFL standards. Like, I don't know why he didn't make that throw. At some point, help your offensive line out. If the read is there, make the first read. That's what you got to do. All right, punts on the way. RC says Cowboys going 15-2. Write it down and look at it and then throw it out. Braden, tell me this, Braden. Who does or either anybody that's a Detroit Lions fan as well? Do the Packers and Lions play this year on Thanksgiving? I believe I made a mental note that they played this year on Thanksgiving. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. But if not, who did you guys play for Thanksgiving, Lion fans? If anybody here can tell JB real quick, because I just thought about those Thanksgiving matchups and stuff like that. Because last year we had a good game between the Packers and the Lions. I believe the Packers upset the Lions the first time, if I'm not mistaken, Braden. I think that we were both watching the game, and it's like we thought the Packers were gonna lose, but yet they won. 42 goes in motion here. Another run play, and he's gonna pick up about a good solid 7 to 8 yards on the carry. Ooh, DJU is in the game, guys. DJU accomplished something that I had not seen any other Florida State quarterback do, and that was go out there and just basically hit the bed every single game that he got in last year. I mean, my man was awful. I'm surprised that they even gave this man a tryout. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, they must not have watched last year's film like I did. That kid is bad. I didn't think he'd get a tryout for the UFL, to be honest with you. I'm just shocked that I'm shocked he's on a roster here. Even in preseason. This is insane. The man can barely do a handoff here. I'm gonna stop trashing the kid like that. But in all seriousness, no, like DJU was great cheeks last year. It was terrible. Right, they're gonna find that. Let DJU throw the ball. I want to see my man go out there and throw the ball. Just let him throw it the rest of the way. But RC says Cowboys are going 15-2. Write it down. Oh, I already read that one there. He said, JB, my Cowboys are going to go 11-6 in my humble opinion. And so I could see maybe like 10 games, maybe. And I can see that possible. Brady says, I've honestly never really liked Florida State, but after all their fans complaining about not making the playoffs a couple years ago, it made you dislike them more. I feel you there. Look at that. DJ, you got a completion. Let's just take a moment of silence to just appreciate that DJ, you got a completion. I mean, that's big time. Because like Florida State could have used that last year. Like just a couple times even against anybody. Braden says, yep, they do on Thanksgiving. She says, JB, I got to do a few things I got to do to get ready for a big day tomorrow. So if I don't catch you before the stream ends, I'll have to catch you next time around. I appreciate that, RC. Absolutely. I believe the next stream should be next week, Thursday, because that's the next time we have another NFL preseason game, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll just have to see who that is and what channel I can get of the game and then set it up. But appreciate you coming through, RC. Brandon says, I remember that. It was amazing. And he says, speaking of Florida State, LSU, I'm sorry, LOL. The Hall of Fame Stadium is fun to play at too. And so you guys remember what game was it? I feel like Braden, why do I feel like your Packers was involved in this game? But you guys remember a couple of years ago, the Hall of Fame game had to be canceled because the field was not painted properly or whatever paint they used, it messed it up to where it was unplayable. Do y'all remember that? I remember I was so hyped for the Hall of Fame game that year, and they just really just let the air out just that game. It was terrible. Meanwhile, Lewis, I know you're back there somewhere, Lewis, but hey, you're still alive for the under. I don't know how you did it. I don't know who you talked to, who you called, but right now there's just 6 minutes and 30 seconds between you cashing out if no more points are scored in this one. And both teams are looking to run that clock. Question says, driving a few hours away, 3.5 hours, to view a housing residence to see if it's worth moving into and taking a job interview while out there. Well, go ahead, RC. Best of luck to you. I hope that it's the home that you want, and also that it's the job that you want as well. And hey, come back with some good news for us next week. DJU going deep. DJU incomplete. Oh, that referee threw the hanky. He threw the flag. He didn't have to do it, but he did. He didn't have to do it, but he did. Nice throw by DJU. Russia said, still DJ Ooh to me. Yes. And it says, honestly, hope he makes the Chargers practice squad. And so, yeah, in all honesty, sound like I'm hating on the kid there, but it'd be nice for him to go ahead and do that. I actually thought he was going to do a good job at Florida State, and he proved me wrong. But who knows what was going on in that situation? But best of luck to him. It says, I see LOL. Custom says, is Hendon Hooker still in the game? And so last time I checked, he was still in the game. Yeah, he was still in the game. I mean, he needs to. I want to see Hendon Hooker throw the ball more. He's been just running it the whole time. I need to see him throw the ball more. With that being said, though, the next time that they do play a preseason game, though, I'm going to be eyeing that under for his passing yards, though, because my man refused to throw that ball. He says, okay, you guys, I'll see all of you next time. Have a good weekend. You have a good weekend as well, lady. Thank you for coming through and have a great rest of your night. Also, again, thanks for coming through. And we're getting that much closer to college football, guys, and the NFL regular season. I can't wait. Ray says, yeah, I remember that. I think that was in the 2016 Packers was going to play the Colts, if I remember correct. That's right. Your team, Mr. JB team, never got to see that one happen there. Oh, and the carry, is he short? Is he short? Right now, it's looking like a stop. But let's see what the referees say officially. Okay, so he is short. The Lewis is that if they get a stop here on third down, you know that they're going to want to go for it. Nobody wants to bring the kicker out, or at least that's what you think. This is tough. This is tough. Just hope that works out for your RC. And Lewis says point 0.5 always makes a difference. Exactly. Tell that to Prize Picks because they do not believe in that point 0.5 when it comes to player props. But here we go. DJ, you snapped the ball. What an excellent job by the defense. They got him. They got him. Wow. For a bunch of Lions, they sure had Lewis's back there, despite the fact he's a Bears fan. Wow, that was big. Go for it on fourth down. They have to go for it, Lewis. We got to have them go for it. We got to have them go for it. Oh man, Lewis, if they can just come up clutch for you, I want this for Lewis. Listen, go feed the touchdown. They gave him the touchdown. They gave him the touchdown. That was vital. And Dan Campbell's upset too because he took the under as well. It seems took the under as well. So he's clearly pissed off at that. Steph just kicked the field goal. Braden says it's over. Yep, it's over. But as always, JB stays to the very end. I tell you guys what though, it has been hot. Like I'm ready for that like October weather to kick in. It's been hot. All right, so after this one, the extra point attempt. All right, extra point is good. All right, so it's 34-7. Steph says game over. It's a wrap. It is a wrap. By the way, is Asante Samuel Jr. still in free agency? What's going on with that? Says good night, JB. Great having you back. It's great to be back, and good night to you. And thanks again for the intro video there, Braden. I just got to figure out since my thing is capped off at 30 seconds here. I got to figure a way to make it fit here so I can have my intro here. But I will figure that out sometime soon. Some says, JB, what's a Super Bowl matchup you wished happened? You say for you, it's the Colts versus Vikings. The year that the Saints won, I was rooting hard for Brett Favre and Adrian Peterson to get that Super Bowl there, especially AP, seeing all the times that my man went out there with Joe Webb at quarterback in a meaningful game and tried his best to run. I mean, because AP ran hard and stuff like that. Everything he does super hard. So I did want to see the Vikings that year get to the Super Bowl. But I'll say for me, a Super Bowl matchup that I wanted to see, I would have to say, I would probably have to say maybe you have to go back a while to when the Rams were like this is probably like 2002-ish or yeah, the 2002-ish. I wanted to see the Raiders versus the Rams in the Super Bowl. I wanted to see, Rich Gannon and his, like MVP form versus someone like a Kurt Warner to see how that played out between those two teams. Because I feel like during that time, this is right before the Raiders fell off now. Right when they went to the Super Bowl, the Buccaneers, the year really I should say the year before that like 2001-ish. So Raiders and Rams would have been a nice matchup around that time frame. But question, SM, I probably should have put some more thought into that one there, but that was the first one that came to mind. Let's see. Lewis says, "Well, 0-1 to start, not the start we wanted." You said last year you started 0-4. Okay, well I'll wait till your fifth bet then, Lewis. Let me know your fifth one. I'll jump in then. Braden says, "No problem, JB. Thanks again." And so, yep, we're just here. Fourth quarter, Chargers up 34-7. And so let me see if I can. I've been saying this for the longest, but let me see if I can pull up the preseason schedule real quick. See what games we got to look forward to. There's a lot of things I'm looking forward to. This preseason that's coming up. We got to see how the Colts quarterback competition actually plays out between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. To be at a spot where the quarterback you drafted in the first round has to compete with Daniel Jones, that lets you know, yeah, things aren't looking that great. But I'm hearing that it's just about almost even there. Quite frankly, I feel like at some point Daniel Jones will pull away with the job there because Anthony Richardson he gets hurt too much. I've seen Anthony Richardson take himself out the game. Now I've seen coaches take Daniel Jones out the game, so I just don't know what to say about the coach there. All I can say is that we'll see how that plays out. Absolutely. Since says Packers versus Patriots, the year they beat the Seahawks would have been a good matchup too. You know what? Let me correct that and say Packers versus the Patriots the year that the Giants beat us, but they actually outed the Packers on the way. I think it happened what in like overtime or something like that. It could have been them, could have been the Seahawks, anybody other than that Giants team because history would have been different. But Rising Rhino in the building. What's good with you? And he says, "What's going on, JB?" Yes, it has been a hot minute. How's everything going? How's the channel? How's the family? How is life? Meanwhile, Hendon Hooker still getting beat up out there. I hadn't seen a quarterback get hit this much in a preseason game since Kellen Mond was getting beat up on that preseason game that I streamed. And we all know how that worked out for him. My man is not recovering. I think he's in the UFL. He made a couple starts this year in the UFL. Kellen Mond. I had high hopes for Kellen Mond, and I was wrong with Kellen Mond also. But yeah, appreciate the love there, Rising Rhino in the building, guys. Stuff that's NFC Sports Philadelphia always streams Eagles like Phillies do. Phillies too. Bet. SM says, "Oh yeah, I remember that one too." Let's see, Rising Rhino says, "Whoop whoop, back in action." Yes. Started off a little rusty there. Apparently, my voice has to get used to me talking so much again. But other than that, everything else felt like I was just picking up where I left off at. How many subscribers are you at right now, Rising Rhino? You said living it up for the CFL, doing some preseason soon. Oh man, I can just imagine. How's the CFL season been going so far? Normally JB tries to cash in a couple bets for the CFL, but this year's been extremely tricky. So JB's just decided to step back and stay out of the CFL this year when it comes to those bets. Lewis says Rhino, that's right. Yes. Look at here, getting close to that 3K mark. 2,840 on the sub and counting. It's a slow stream tonight thanks to this game, and so it be that way. It be that way. But I feel like though your audience is a hardcore CFL audience, and so I would think that even this time of the year, it would still be at least most of the same. But I feel you there. I feel you there. And it says, "What up, Lewis?" That's nice win for John's brother. That's right. That's right. Call him good old peeping Jim. But nah, Jim, I like what Jim brings to the table here because I mean he's been a tremendous coach. Like regardless how you feel about Jim, Jim is a winner. I remember what he did with the 49ers and stuff. That was incredible when he took over that team compared to how he left that team there. Obviously, he only left that team because of what, him and management not seeing eye to eye. That happens sometimes with strong personalities. You saw what he did down there at Michigan and stuff. So Jim's a winner. So the Chargers, they got the right one, and that's exactly what a guy like Justin Herbert really truly needed to help his career reach what I know it can be. All right, but you get rookie 2-minute warning here. Chargers up 34-7. That last touchdown messed it up if you took the under, but if you took the over, then hey, you're happy right now if you took the over for this game, 34-7. Turnovers was the theme in this one. It was the theme in this one. See, Samuel says you think it's time yet, and so I'd say not quite yet, not quite yet, not quite yet. Listen, says start, bench, cut, Kevin Cobb, Brock Osweiler, Matt Hassel. Ooh. All right, so man, can I just cut all three? Like, I feel like Kevin Cobb being coached, by Andy Reid, that helped a little bit, although it didn't show too much him. So for me, Matt Castle, if you're telling me I have like a really good team already, then I want Matt Castle. But Matt Castle's probably gonna be my backup quarterback, and I'm just gonna hope I have good weapons if he does get into the game. But we gotta have like everything in place. Kevin Cobb, I- I'm trying my best to remember more of Kevin Cobb's performances, but Brock Osweiler, that's not happening. That's not happening. I know for a fact I'm letting Brock Osweiler hit the street each and every time. The way that he robbed the Houston Texans franchise, the way that he just l- the Broncos knew better than to pay him. That's one thing they knew. They knew not to pay him. So yeah, I'm letting Brock go. Kevin Cobb, like what did he do? He's a start. Remember the name, but I'm trying to remember what he did. Just says TSN streams every NFL game. And so bet. I'm gonna make a note of that. Bryson says, okay, so Castle, Osweiler, and then Cobb. So he says Kevin Cobb last there. Okay, so now I'm trying to remember. I don't want to confuse Kevin Cobb's time there because I feel like the Eagles had like a lot of the Eagles were a factory at that time in terms of just developing like second round pick quarterback during that time. So we're getting like a minute and seconds left to go here in the final stages of this one. Chargers are just going to go ahead and take a couple knees here basically put the Lions out of misery for this one. But again, Hall of Fame game. We're just excited to have football. Next week, we'll get to see other teams as well. So great time, guys. Great time. And I say this and I say that. So next week, Thursday, all right. So the Bengals and the Eagles, and also the Colts and the Ravens there. So you've also got the Raiders and Seahawks next Thursday. So 3 games next week. Thursday. Look, I'd like to get the Colts and Ravens if possible. Bengals and Eagles could be good also. I know the Bengals said that they're going to play their starters a little bit longer in the preseason than they typically do. But yeah, that's game right there. That's the game. The Chargers won 34-7 with the W. That says Chargers win. Edison says they were all backups that got paid big money after leaving their teams. That's why you chose them. And so, yeah, 'cause I was trying for the life of me to remember what Kevin Cobb, if he accomplished anything at all. But what Brock Osweiler did, mm-mm, nah, that's a no for me. At least I know Matt Castle. If I have talent and the right coaching staff, I feel like Matt Castle can at least go out there and look decent. So I do feel confident with that. Custom says you agree with Rhino there. Okay, bet. Sammy says you got 78 subscribers and 9 videos for 335 views now. Okay, Samuel. Hey, keep grinding. Keep grinding. You got 9 videos. By the time you hit that 12th video, you may be at 100 subs there. So keep pushing them out. Keep pushing them out. Well, yep, that concludes the matchup here. JB, thanks everybody for coming through. I know it's been a long minute here, but here we go. The NFL season officially back and so much football to cover, guys. And so, but I appreciate everybody for coming through here. JB does have work in the morning, so I will go ahead and end the stream. But thanks everybody for coming through. It's been great to see so many familiar faces coming through. That's always a great thing here. And JB, appreciate you guys coming through and supporting the channel and just talking sport. And so hopefully a week from today, we'll all be back and we'll be able to talk about, whether it's the Colts and Ravens or the Bengals and Eagles. Something tells me it's going to be either one of those two teams next time. But either way, I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Take care. JB signing off. Good night to everyone here. And so Samuel says, my channel. SM says, last year, I think Max Melton showed up with a Cobb jersey to Cardinals camp. Oh, man. Now that's trolling. Now that's trolling. And so, yeah, so next game's going to be next week, Thursday, because that's the next NFL preseason game. And so I'm not sure if it'll be the Colts and Ravens or the Bengals and Eagles, but either way, we're looking at next week, Thursday, as the next live stream and the next, preseason game. So look forward to it. And so that will either be, looks like either 6 or 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So that means 7 or 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, just depending on which game I end up choosing. If I can get the Colts and Ravens, I'll likely choose that one if I can get the Colts and Ravens because the Colts, they've got, two quarterbacks competing for the starting job. That means more meaningful snaps there. So we'll see how that plays out. Lewis says good night there. And so good night to you, Lewis. And hey, this year we're gonna get you on that win streak next time. We got to start earlier. Got to start earlier. Esther said, nah, he said he didn't know who he was. He just liked the jersey. Come on now. That's insane. That's insane. That's insane. And so, yep. Take care, SM, and I'll see you next time. And good night to you, Samuel. Appreciate you coming through there. Take care. Be safe. Don't do anything that JB wouldn't do. All right, so JB signing out, guys. See you guys next time.